You know what? We should do that, man. We should make that a tradition of the Hot Tag Podcast.
Shit
Every wrestler that we get on the show, we should ask them why they're fascinated by shit.
Where was I? I got lost.
Oh, you're talking about drugs.
Oh, Ric Flair. A ladder match, not to grab a title, not to grab a contract, but to grab a duck.
Yeah, there you go. See, that's good.
Why is that good, though? Why? Why? I need to know. Why?
Why on a pole? That is smart. There you go.
Fucking prick. He has one fucking move. What's up with that?
Can't be traced back to that goddamn company.
Was this the first time that Ric Flair was on TV?
If I remember correctly, it was October of '98. I don't remember.
Oh, don't even say that, man. How the fuck do you know that?
Yeah, September 14th, 1998. Yeah.
I would have took me off.
I don't know what you've been doing for the last 40 years or the last year. What do you mean? What the fuck have you been doing?
Drinking?
So, yeah, that explains your love for beer and shotguns.
Yeah, suck it. Fuck you. This bullshit. Fuck you. Fuck you.
WCW for you, man. Botching, shooting, not literally like Chirac Chicago shooting, you know, like wrestling shooting.
Do you want to high spot some pussy and then hashtag Peter Johnson?
Sit the fuck down. You understand me? Sit the fuck down.
Tommy loves my Nicole Bass.
Don't you, Tommy?
Suck my left dick. Suck my left nut, you bitches. Suck it.
Why are you out of breath, man? What are you eating off before you call in? What the fuck are you doing?
No, because I was running to get this damn coffee. Don't worry.
John Cena tries to do a Hurricane Rana and almost kills himself.
The champ is here!
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Sit the fuck down. You understand me? Sit the fuck down. WWE. Fuck you, mother. Fuck you. Can't be traced back to that goddamn company. This really pissed me off because it is bullshit. Vince Russo, of all people, Vince Russo is full of shit. Suck my left dick. Suck my left nut, you bitches. Suck it. Yeah, suck it.
THT Podcast, live Wednesdays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Mixlr.com/THT Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, and TuneIn Radio.
All right, and we are back once again Wednesday night, and we are on time. It's 9:33. 3-minute intro. Give us some goddamn credit. We are on time, and you have tuned in to the Hot Tag Podcast, THT Podcast, on Mixlr. That's Mixlr.com/THT Podcast. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook groups. Join us, THT Podcast, same thing. iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, YouTube, and TuneIn Radio. Subscribe, leave us some feedback. Greatly appreciate it. And check us out on WrestlingSoup.com. Speaking of those guys, every Thursday, I believe Mish is back. I think they'll be doing a show tomorrow night if you want to check that out. Thursday nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Mixlr.com/WSDTKC-show. And Yakuza Kick Radio, J-Cat Morris. He's got Ian Rotten on the show tonight, which I'm very much looking forward to. So you can check that out, blogtalkradio.com/Yakuza. That's YAKUZA.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yakuza. That's a fun name to say. It really is. It's a fun name. I like that. I like it.
I don't know why he doesn't have a Japanese intro. It has to have one, right?
He might not want to go full stereotypical.
What's Trent Acid's move? It's not even an Asian.
I'm gonna go full stereo. Well,
maybe
the
fucking. I don't know what Japanese wrestling. For all I know, Yakuza Kid could.
Well, I mean, Yakuza is a. You know, I mean, you've heard of the
gang.
Yeah, I mean, you probably just want to not piss them off.
Well, I just asked Sabu, man. He knows a lot about him from FMW.
Dude,
they fucking held him hostage and
bro,
shit.
He's lucky to have balls, 2 be alive. I mean, fuck that, dude. There's
3 and have hips. You just had hip replacement.
There's something. There's some things I wouldn't want to get involved in. That's one, like Yakuza. Wrestling. Politics.
Drugs. Wrestling.
Well, certain drugs are okay. I mean, you got to pick and choose your drugs. You can't go all out on a coke binge and expect to keep your job, your car, your house.
Yeah, never say it's okay to wrestlers, man. They'll take fucking bottles of pills.
Ugh.
You know.
Yeah.
Wrestlers' lives matter, man. Hashtag that shit.
Never shake a bottle of Tic Tacs around wrestlers. They'll
No.
come oh, it's just Tic Tacs, guys. Oh,
Just all turn
you
fucking crackheads, start itching themselves and shit.
look like Ty.
You know that Dave Chappelle skit where they started scattering like roaches? You see
Look
wrestlers
like Tyrone
fucking-
Bigums. What's up, y'all? Hey, I heard some what was jingling, motherfucker?
Jumping out of fucking lockers and shit, just coming out of nowhere.
They were Tic Tacs, dude. Oh, probably get your ass kicked.
The boogeyman just throwing up fucking worms to make some more room for pills in the stomach. You know? But no, I don't know. Yakuza kick, I mean, it could be a Japanese thing. I just know it from Trent Acid. I don't know it from anything else.
Really, what's a donkey kick? I mean, come on. You know, it's just...
There you go.
You know, although I was...
But yeah, check that out. Ian Rotten tonight. You can check it out on the downloads. Just go to blowuptalkradio.com/Yakuza. Bam.
Bam, indeed.
Boxman, we were supposed to have Ricky O, the former owner of Jersey Championship Wrestling / Game Changer Wrestling. Dick moved by me. I forgot to give him our number in advance, and he has yet to read the message that I've sent him. So either he'll call in halfway through the show, or if not, we'll reschedule for next week. He'll definitely be on, though. He was very excited to come on the show.
So there may be a surprise tonight. There may not.
There may, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
Just a random pop up. Whenever he reads it, I'm assuming. He's
there
gonna
you go.
Call, so.
Stay tuned. Possible surprise coming up.
Possible run-in by Ricky.
All right, that's a good thing, man. That'd be cool. Yeah. So if he reads it, he'll call. Otherwise, you got us. God damn it, you got Boxman. You got Shahin. You're stuck with us. God damn it, you're stuck with the fucking hot tag. What can I tell you?
There you go. Boxman, big fucking wrestling weekend here in the city of Philadelphia.
In the city.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry.
It's the city of brotherly love.
Yes.
I don't even know if I should say brotherly love in front of wrestlers anymore, man. Wrestling is getting like super homoerotic nowadays. You know, it started out from handshakes, now it's hugs, now it's a lot of dick grabbing. It's you know, it's up there.
Wrestling's,
which is, you know,
wrestling.
No problem against gays or
no,
anything.
no.
It's just I'm not used to wrestling just turning into like dick grabs. You know, it's something that it wasn't before.
Isn't even wrestling anymore. I mean, if you want to go ahead and get into something, what about this fucking lady that is like all pissed off at Kevin Owens for doing his fucking job and acting like a heel? And she's all pissed. I'm getting the article pulled up right now. If you,
dude, that's fucking rough because like the guy's doing his job. You know what I mean? Like that's what they used to do in the early '90s and '80s and '70s. I'm sure. And I wasn't even sperm then, so I don't know. But you know, definitely. I mean, wrestling, dude, it revolved around the fan reaction. You know, whether it was a little kid crying. When you go to a wrestling show, that's what you should expect, man. You know, it's like theatrics. It's live theater with violence.
And I believe I actually have. Let me see. I think I have the clip of what Kevin Owens said.
I mean, what is deathmatch wrestling or hardcore wrestling? It's basically theater with light tubes. It's acting. Yeah,
I got you.
That's all it is.
I mean, she gave this whole thing. My heart is shattered. Kevin Owens did this, blah, blah, blah. Dude, do you remember when... I know you remember. You're from Philly. Bubba Ray Dudley used to cause fucking... Not just Bubba. Bubba and Devon both. I'm going to go ahead and throw Devon some credit here. Those two used to cause fucking riots, and I'm not bullshitting. You've seen it. You've probably been there.
I haven't been there, but, dude, let's for a second. I'm going to try to find this clip. Well, there's the classic one. Let's play fucking the Dudley Boys going off on the crowd.
I think this is the clip of Kevin Owens yelling at the kid. Let me.
Okay, go ahead and play that while I find
it. Let me.
Go buy this shirt. You know what? Don't go buy this shirt. I don't want you to wear Kevin Owens' shirt ever. Kevin might have done.
All right, can't really hear it. I'm sorry about that. I thought it was clear. But, you know, he yelled at a 7-year-old kid. Of course, it doesn't. I mean, we all know Kevin Owens has a kid, probably around this kid's age, that he adores. He talks about him. He posts on Facebook, Instagram, social media itself about his kid. We know he didn't do this out of any. This is wrestling. If you look, I have an 8-year-old. I've explained to him what wrestling is. Whether he believed it was real or not, I wasn't going to let it happen. I crushed his dreams right away of wrestling being real because he's a little aggressive, and I don't want him trying the fucking moves on his little brother. How's that?
Especially nowadays, I guess.
Yeah, well, he's got a little brother. I mean, I've seen him try karate moves on his little brother. So, you know, and you know, sometimes you just got to tell kids the truth. I know it's a crazy thing, but sometimes you have to do that. But, you know, this is just bullshit. And a lot of people are saying this bitch is looking for free stuff. She's looking to get some fucking attention. Well, she got on every goddamn dirt sheet, so there's her attention.
Come on, man. She got on every dirt
There's
sheet.
her attention.
What, getting a shout out from Mike Johnson is worth
this
it?
wasn't a few. I mean, this hasn't. I don't know if it hit mainstream media because I don't really follow mainstream media. So I mean, I do some, but I don't know. I don't know if it got any more media than that. But I don't know. Wrestling is fucking not wrestling anymore. It's bullshit.
Oh, dude, it's not wrestling.
No.
Which is, I think, Boxman, I think it's safe for me to announce this now. I think I'm going to retire from watching WWE for a while. Because I honestly, not even on some shit like, you know, oh, it's terrible, I can't watch it anymore. Dude, I've lost the interest. I really just can't. You know what I mean? As soon as they provided me with more, you know, shows and content, I just tuned out. And honestly, I'm probably going on my 5th week of not watching it like at all.
Yeah.
So I'm fine. You know, I'm still here. I'm still living. We're still doing a 2-hour show at least.
Come up with,
we just happen to skip over, you know,
Let's
Raw.
come up with something else for THT instead of the hot tags. We can call it the Holy Terror Show. We'll just talk about conspiracy theories and shit to be like Alex Jones. We'll just scare the shit out of people.
I actually like that name. That's a good name.
The Holy Terror Podcast, THT.
The irony of that name.
Isn't it? We could call it that. We could. We always have, I mean, you know, Taylor Hendricks Tuesday. We could just go ahead and throw it right over there. Taylor Hendricks Tits. Just name a whole podcast after Taylor Hendricks Tits. I don't know. We could have some fun, man. We could have some fun. We'll just turn this into a... we've already said we could probably talk conspiracy theories all night.
Yeah, I mean, we'll still talk wrestling. I'm not saying I'm not, like, watching. I'm still going to wrestling shows. Shit, you know what I mean? It's not like I've stopped watching wrestling. I just happen to skip over, like, Raw.
Did you go...
And, of course, I'm going to come back around, you know, when it comes to WrestleMania and shit.
Yeah. Did you go to that show Saturday?
Cage of Death? Fuck yeah, dude. Of course.
Go ahead, man. If you want to go ahead and...
Definitely have to... Well, I'm going to lump that up in the Philly wrestling weekend, if you will. So, you know, House of Hardcore is this weekend. Game Changers this weekend. And then while I'm talking about those, I'll just talk about CCW as well.
Oh, all right. Yeah, you can wait till...
Figure lump that up in a little segment.
Hey, wait till Anthony calls. You can talk about that. You guys can geek out.
Oh, yeah, he was at the show too. So.
You guys can geek out on your fucking CZW and your HOH and all.
Wow, dude, it sounds like a hell of a time, man.
Oh, what was that?
I don't know, dude. Yeah, I just sent you the link to the Dudley Boys promo and compare that to what the fuck is going on nowadays. Okay. It starts off at the 4-minute.
Well, let me put it on YouTube instead of doing it through the thing. Then 4 minutes it starts. Right, let me jump to 4 minutes. Like exactly.
Whoa, time lapse.
4 exactly go to. All right.
Yeah,
that's rad, dude.
4. Here we go.
Yeah, talk.
The magic of technology.
That woman in the front row might make a move.
You want a piece of me? You want a piece of
does he know his name? Holy shit, I never caught that before. Okay.
Great comment. Everything's
It
named.
is. Hold on, I'm not done.
Time out! Time out! You know what? It seems that you're a little confused. So since you won't come to us, we'll come to you.
Uh-oh, here comes an insurance disaster. Big lawsuit.
Y'all can't see, but he is right in this guy's face. And the guy's taking it like it's wrestling. He's not crying. He's not pulling the teenage kid beside him from the language. He's not...
Whoa. Well, hold on a second. I think she just spit on him. So,
well, you know, okay, again, not okay. She's jumping in the show because she's not offended by the language. It's called understanding life, wrestling.
Well, he's one of those guys that's pretending that he wants to fight. You know those? You know that's like
tough guy.
That gets usually the ones that are really loud are the ones that are not really about it. You know what I mean?
Tough guys.
They're the ones that talk off of the mouth and they wait for their friends to hold them back, or if you will.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yeah, they're like telephone tough guys. Kind of.
Well, internet
well,
tough
now
guys,
it's internet tough guys. I mean, that's all you can do now. But yeah, it's really, and you know, even Doug in our chat room says the whole situation bothers him. It should bother any wrestling fan that someone can just go online, blab about all this shit. And it gets tossed around. This lady should have got no fucking attention from anybody. Everyone should have looked at that and just went, next.
Dude, do people forget what wrestling is?
Yes.
Like, is that the issue here?
Yes, because everybody wants the next viral post, the next viral video, the next petition to the next world star, the next petition to put out online. This is offensive. You know what? If you're offended by anything in wrestling, don't fucking go to wrestling. And especially a live event where they have a little more free reign.
Dude, I'm telling you, she's famous now. Mike Johnson fucking name dropped it, dude. It's Mike Johnson.
Mike Lick My Johnson. Fuck you. All right.
Mike Johnson buried us earlier on in
Like buried
years.
you. He buried you. Let's be honest here.
You got lumped up in that, man.
I did. I always get thrown into your fucking your wars. Your little wars you start.
I should say hello to him at House of Hardcore.
Hello.
Oh, yo, dude, you remember me, man? You wrote that article where you spent it was like literally like 60 paragraphs. It was so fucking long. It was a whole
Did he do a
essay.
video? I thought he did a video. Either way, yeah, it was like a whole article on how you got worked. You got worked, bro. Yeah, you got worked.
You got worked, son.
So worked. So fucking worked, man.
I love how later on it came out that he probably was pissed.
Yeah, like...
Dude was, like, miserable.
Yeah.
He, like, wanted to, like, quit wrestling. You remember he went on Twitter, like, the following, like, 8 months bitching about, like, you know, he basically subliminally saying that he wants to leave.
Yeah, like...
That he had a way out.
Yeah, like a month later, he was like, yeah, you know, this company sucks dick, and they treat me like shit. Look, dude, you don't even know what they're doing to this poor guy now. I really, really, seriously, there's times I feel bad for Daniel Bryan. There really is. I know he's got plenty of money. He's, you know, living a great life, but WWE just uses him
He's fucking eating grass all
that's,
day.
you know, by choice. By choice, and it's his choice. If he wants to eat, fuck it. If he wants to do shots of wheatgrass all fucking day, good for him. No problem with it here. But WWE needs to quit just making him a verbal punching bag if he can't do anything about it. Let's just
Yeah, I heard he's doing a thing with
Yeah,
Miz now,
let's
right?
just let Miz completely destroy him verbally. And you know what? Here's the good thing. You want to know what's funny? Daniel Bryan can't do anything about it because he's disabled. What do you think of that, pal?
It's probably what happened, to be honest with you. That's
Get it?
exactly
He
what
can't
went
go
down.
in the ring because he's a fucking mush. His brain is mush.
That's him.
Old pudding-head Daniel Bryan.
Oh, you got the laugh down for sure. Gotta work on the accent a little bit, then you'll be famous.
Dude, remember, I just woke up.
There you
Let's
go.
see, we've been on for about 30 minutes here. Yeah, I've been up for about 35 minutes then.
There you go. Have you seen this? I'm sure you haven't, since I haven't. This Ring of Honor pay-per-view?
No, but I've read nothing but good.
Yeah, I heard it was amazing. Quick thing, I guess they set up an angle between the Hardys and the Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that you'd be looking forward to? I mean, do you think this is going to bleed out to like TNA, or do you think this is solely just a Ring of Honor project right here? Because I mean, they're under TNA contract, right? I know they can work indies and stuff, but like Ring of Honor is televised. You know, it's owned by Sinclair. It's not really like an indie anymore. It is, but
You're
it's
right.
not. You know what I mean?
The scary thing is, I think if anybody right now could benefit from a working relationship with ROH, it's TNA.
Oh, dude, they can benefit from fucking working with Chikara. Who gives a shit?
They could
Fucking, hold on to anything.
They could
you got.
benefit working with fucking Shimmer right now. Let's be completely honest here.
Well, they actually could. They could benefit off the fucking Juggalos right now. You know?
Well,
Juggalo champion shit wrestling. Do you remember that?
WCW profited off the Juggalos for how long, dude?
I don't know if it profited anything.
I'm sure they got a few bucks from those T-shirts. I'm sure they got something, little something from those.
Did they sell? I don't think they sold their T-shirts.
I think they did back then, dude.
No, dude, they had their own. No, I don't think so.
I don't remember
Yeah,
going. Yeah,
They would not fucking slave out their brand, dude. Those guys. I mean, say what you want about them, but they've been pretty smart about how they go about business.
A lot of people have said they're very smart businessmen, even though they are what they are. But they can also kick back and fucking talk business with you. I've never really heard bad things about ICP themselves.
I wouldn't want to hang out with them.
I wouldn't want to hang out with them or most of their fans, and I say most because I'm sure there's some really chill, cool guys out there and gals, but they're a little fucked up out there.
Well, real quick thing. I mean, is this something you'd want to see though? The Young Bucks
of
and-
course,
and,
dude.
Hardy?
Dude, right now the Hardys are badass right now. But they're doing good, man. I like this. I know a lot of people are confused at how anyone can like this wacky Matt Hardy shit, but I like it. I like stupid stuff.
Yeah,
How many times have I like stupid movies? I like stupid shit. Look, it's me. I'm a goofy. I'm kind of the John Cena of THT. I like goofy shit. I'm a goofy little bastard.
Oh, dude.
Did you see him on Saturday Night Live?
I did not. But do you own a dick
No,
towel?
but it was really he. Why is everybody so good outside of WWE? He was great on Saturday Night. Randy Orton on Shooter, that new TV show right after SmackDown, was fucking badass last night. Randy Orton could really be like a legit action star. Seriously.
I mean, he's got the look.
He does.
for
He
it.
has the look, and he's good on camera. I thought he did good on that show last night. That's a great show, anyway. Yeah, I've been watching it since the first one. 3-4 weeks ago.
Cena's still the drizzling shits, dude. No, I can't give
But
you that.
acting, he's not, bro. He's good. They're all good outside of WWE. All of them. Edge, 100% better outside of WWE. Batista. Look at Batista. I mean, I liked Batista in the ring, but Batista's great in the movies he's doing. And who's the other guy that? RVD is. A lot of them are better outside of WWE.
The Rock.
Well, I mean, The Rock is a fucking anomaly. You know, Jim Ross is now comparing John Cena to The Rock after Saturday Night Live. He's going down the same road and probably never going to work another schedule again, a full-time schedule.
Well, let's not forget guys like even wrestling wise, not just acting. Sammy Callahan, Del Rio, Cody Rhodes. Look at him, fucking killing it.
Yeah, definitely. Cody Rhodes is
I couldn't stand the guy when he was on TV. I was getting tired of it, dude. Who the fuck wants to see Stardust and this Ascension?
Yeah, did you see that?
That was like come on.
Actually, it was posted last Thursday. They were posting all that Bullet Club video. Did you see that Bullet Club video with Cody Rhodes in it?
I did. I mean, it's pretty dope, man.
American Nightmare.
The Bullet Club.
Badass.
Yeah, dude, I love the name.
I like the name.
I think it's
the
great.
video was good. He had the mask on for part of it. That's it. It was cool. I liked it a lot. I did. I thought it was a really good thing. Hold on, I'm grabbing a burr.
But is it going to make you watch New Japan?
Look, I don't watch New Japan just for the fact that I don't have time to set out and find places to watch it.
Just skip Raw. We'll make this a New Japan podcast.
I watched live again the other night, and every time I do, I'm just like, why?
Bad.
I should have just drank fucking turpentine.
Bad move. Should have fucking took a bath in fucking bleach.
Ugh.
Been better time.
Michael Jackson? Jesus Christ.
Oh, really?
That was so wrong. I'm sorry, Michael. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, my friend. Rest in peace, my white brother.
Something like that.
That was worse. Oh my God, I'm digging a hole here, Shahin. Get me out.
Hey, go ahead, bury yourself.
No.
You're fine, dude. No, totally. Go ahead. Go ahead. 6 feet deep.
Here,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna dig out my little mini bottles I've got here.
I mean, I'm a quarter way deep. Not even quarter, probably a third. You're like halfway deep.
Yeah, and
40. You're halfway.
Yeah, my problem is when I bury myself, I just keep digging. Sometimes purposely. Sometimes I just don't give a fuck. I'm just going to keep going deeper. And then eventually you just get so deep no one can get you out, and you're good to go. Just fucking...
When you get, something like that.
You hit rock bottom. No one can fuck with you. Let's see here. I got one more bottle.
Unintended.
Here we go. I have cinnamon whiskey, Magna Flame.
I thought
Might want to see if that light's on fire. Yeah, they're mini bottles, little baby bottles. I have a little bottle of Cuervo here, a little tequila. I got a
Boxman's getting drunk.
bottle of vodka, which I should go grab my. I have some Bloody Mary mix. Might do that in a few minutes here. And I got a little bit of rum, little Sailor Jerry spiced rum here. So,
right.
during
great.
the beer drinking, I might do a little shot or two. I put the vodka away.
There you go. Or like 6 or so. And I got a chicken sandwich over here.
Do you? You know what? You know what goes good with chicken sandwiches? Cinnamon whiskey. Remember, I do not like whiskey, but I'm gonna taste this Magna Flame cinnamon whiskey right now. Let's crack this bitch open here.
Last time I drank was on the show. I never drank.
You don't have time. All right.
Well, not only that, I just never really got into
my
drinking.
double shot glass here, so let's see here. The mini will pour about almost fills up a double shot glass. Yeah, about a shot and a half.
All right, so you got 4 of them, so you probably get like 7 shots.
We're probably gonna take the vodka and mix me a little Bloody Mary during the break here.
Well, still same amount of liquor.
Of course. Now I got a beer over here. Well, I haven't finished my coffee. I'll probably that's what I'll do. I'll chase the cinnamon tequila with some coffee.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, cinnamon whiskey.
Damn, dude, that's fucking rough.
All right.
That's about as manly as you can get, man. You got some steak over there?
No, I did have pork chops for dinner.
No, that's not manly enough. You need
I had
steak.
pork chop with barbecue sauce and cornbread.
That's just redneck. You need some steak, dude. If you had some steak and you're fucking chasing coffee with whiskey, dude.
Well, I do have some Lone Star beer right here beside me, made right here in Fort Worth, Texas. Fucking how.
See what I'm saying? Some redneck shit.
I'm going to open that just in case I need it. All right, here we go.
Yeah,
here we go. The Magna Flame. Magna Flame.
Cinnamon whiskey.
Cinnamon flavored whiskey. Oh, fuck.
Okay, next.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, and down the hatch, baby.
Oh, Boxman just threw up.
No.
Fuck.
That's, I do not taste whiskey. That's good. I do not even need a chaser with that.
Well, that's good. What is it? If you don't taste the whiskey, dude, I'd like some of that. What the fuck is it?
Magna Flame. Cinnamon flavored whiskey.
Let me see the bottle. Magna Flame?
Magna Flame.
Okay.
Probably should have seen if it lit on fire.
The Book of Booty is coming out. The New Day's putting out a book, April 2017. There's a lot of loose booty action going on in the WWE right now, dude. This is included. This is one of them.
Did you hear what Daniel Bryan said on Talking Smack last night?
No, what was that?
I'm paraphrasing here. He was talking about something, and he's like, SmackDown used to just have a giant fist on the stage, on the ramp, and I was like, boy, SmackDown really likes fisting. And Renee Young just looked at him like, seriously?
Dude, he's been home too long, man. He's into some freaky shit now.
God,
That's what happens when you're home with your wife for fucking 9 months straight.
And she's pregnant now.
Well, there's a reason for it. Fisting. And he inserted the
He
peace
certainly
pipe.
wasn't fisting if she's pregnant. So,
Well, that's why I said he inserted the peace pipe.
Yes, I understand what you're saying, Shahin.
I would never want to. No, dude. If a fist goes in there, dude, I'm not. Come on.
What?
If a fist goes in there, dude, I can't be shooting up that
No,
club.
I.
By the club, I mean the vag, not the actual club. Please.
All right, let's see. Anthony in the chat just posted something. It's got Jeff Jarrett's name in the title. I'm already. I'm interested, but guess what? It's PW Insider, and they fucking take forever to load because of their fucking flash on their website.
Because of fucking Mike Johnson.
Because Mike sucks Johnson. That's why.
He does. He sucks him down at House of Hardcore, dude. He fucking eats cold ass hot dogs all the time. He literally sucks them down. He doesn't
There
even
you
chew
go.
them. He just fucking.
Don't need you, bro. It's like the fucking Kielbasa Queen. Okay, this is still loading.
Yeah, because it's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, the fucking, the flash all loads. Okay, could Jeff Jarrett ends up the Steve Jobs of TNA returning to the company?
What? Steve Jobs?
No, it looks like they're saying... All right, give me a second to read this. Let's see. Last night, John Pollock of Live Audio Wrestling, Law Radio, which is not a bad show, reported Anthem Sports and Entertainment, which is the parent company of Law, and the company now funding TNA, has been meeting with Jarrett, one of the founders of the company, and oh my God, it looks like they may be trying to bring Jeff Jarrett back to run this company again.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What are you Look at fucking Global Force Wrestling. Where's that now? Why would you want to invest in this guy if he can't fucking get his own company?
I have to shut this website down. It is literally, it's making my computer start to cry. Anyway. My Windows actually is crying, get a Mac. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you see? It's tapping out, man.
This computer, I'm surprised, hasn't tapped out. I've had this thing since I lived in Florida. And I've been here 8 years. Jeff, fuck it. What? Wrestling.
He's just trying to find a new website to sell his 8x10s. That's all he's
Wrestling might be the only, what should I call it, medium of entertainment that doesn't learn from its own mistakes. Not only doesn't learn from its own mistakes, but but throughout history has done nothing but repeat the same mistakes. Not only repeat the same mistakes, but with the same people. No one else, no other company.
Look at Vince Russo. He got employed more than once.
Dude, how that happened, this explains how fucked up the people at W. They must have been drinking every meeting with him. Or something. Oh, yeah, listen to him. He's a fucking smart guy. He can write everything. Really? Listen to him fucking talk. Tell me he can write.
Another mistake is Disco Inferno being a fucking booker more than once.
Easy, tough guy.
Jesus Christ. This guy wanted to have Invisible Men wrestling or Aliens or some
Easy.
shit. Come on, dude. Are you kidding me?
Aliens wrestling? Come on, dude.
Fucking Disco Inferno. Come on, man. This isn't
That's
He-Man.
money.
This isn't Masters
That's
of the
money.
Universe. This is fucking wrestling. Come on, dude. He's off, man. There's something wrong with that dude. Never was a fan.
I'm sorry. I could deal with some aliens wrestling. I'm good with that.
Yeah, like real ones. He wasn't talking about real ones. He was talking about some cheesy
Real?
shit,
Are
dude.
you saying they're out there?
Yeah.
No.
That would have been the perfect time to cue up that music.
Oh, they're not out there, dude.
Oh, they're
they're
out
not.
there.
I believe
For sure.
I believe
They're out.
something is out there. I've said that before.
Yeah, well, let's save the conspiracy theories for the end.
All right, because I got
After
it.
we maybe we'll
right. 'Cause,
take
I mean,
some calls
look,
and
I
do
mean-
some.
I got it. It's ready. It's ready.
Can we do that? Can we do this every week? End the show with conspiracy
Let's do
theories. Rock the music, open up the lines, talk some conspiracies, and get the fuck
do it.
out. Back
That's what I'm talking about, bro. We can.
Let's not leave on a sad note. We always leave on a sad note talking about wrestling. Let's go with conspiracy theories.
Actually,
you know?
our one of our best shows has us talking maybe 30 minutes of wrestling. The rest was fucking conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Yeah,
Bro,
probably.
people want to hear about aliens. And
Can we ban fucking PW Insider from being posted on the page? Any links? Fuck that guy.
I don't get much from him anyway. But
Speaking of this dickhead, though, he reported that CZW's Cage of Death actually drew about 2,000 people.
can they fit 2,000 people where Cage of Death is held?
Just about. I mean, dude, it was definitely like up there. I mean, I don't know about 2,000. I'd probably say probably close to 1,500, maybe even over 1,500. Originally, I thought it was like 1,300, but you know, it started packing more. I mean, that place was fucking filled, dude. You couldn't get around.
Good, man.
That was the most I'd seen at the skate zone.
Good.
You know?
I mean, you were worried about how this show was going to go over with all the fuck ups. So
Well, no, this wasn't. No. I mean, there was a bunch of questionable matches.
that's
on
what I
there.
mean.
But it actually all turned out fine. I mean, it was a great fucking card. I'll get into it at the end
yeah.
when open up the lines. Or maybe whenever Anthony calls in, I'll talk about CZW. But yeah, overall, I was definitely very satisfied with the show. Which any of you guys, honestly, dude, it wasn't even because of the death match. Just check it out. It's a good fucking show. Like there was some real, legit good wrestling on there. You know, like it really was a great show. Even if you subtract the death match from it, it was fucking great.
cool.
Check that shit out.
So I mean, he's saying 2,000. You think it was like what 1,500 probably? That's not bad.
Dude, that's like a Ring of Honor show.
That's good, dude.
Yeah.
You know what? That's a televised TNA event, and I'm not being a smartass here. I'm 100% legit being serious.
Yeah, no, definitely. I
That
believe
is a televised TNA event right there. That's 1,500 people is good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andre has a point. At least he's putting the I mean, at least he put the show over. He could have shit on it. Yeah, but then he won't get free tickets next time. So you know. It's,
Oh, he wasn't even at the show. I mean, he didn't put it over. He didn't say it was a good show or anything. He just stated a fact
oh,
that there was a lot of people there. Yeah, I mean,
well, good for him. Way to state that's good. He can repeat facts. That's good. That's good. We can
Andre, believe me, fuck
we can
this
do the
guy.
same. By the way. And we have microphones. We can repeat a lot of facts.
Believe me, Mike Johnson is it's a waste. Let's leave it at that.
Okay.
Not a fan of the dude.
Next.
Not a fan, dude. Real quick, man. Tajiri's coming back, and he's going to be on 205 Live.
I got no problem with that. I like Tajiri.
Dude, I'll start watching 205 Live since I stopped watching Raw. Let's go with that, and I'll still watch probably like the Raw pay-per-views. I'll still watch those. I just I can't watch fucking Raw every week.
I got you.
Just not possible.
Oh, there we go.
That way I can catch up to Lucha Underground. Shit like that.
Yeah. I got you.
I'd like to get back into Ring of Honor because I think they're doing some great things.
They're on TV.
So yeah, I mean, I have it on my DVR. Even New Japan, I tape it every week on my DVR. I just literally haven't watched not an episode.
I know the feeling.
Same with TNA. I mean, TNA still records. I haven't fucking clicked it. It's there.
I don't even get the channel anymore. So.
Well, I guess Total Nonstop Deletion is this week. Maybe I'll watch that. I'll just wait for it to go on Facebook or whatever. No, I'll help him out. I'll leave my TV on. I'll give him that one extra rating. I'll help him out. It's Christmas time. It's the holiday season.
Look at you.
TNA, you're welcome. I'll leave my TV on. You know what? I'll actually leave my TV on after the episode so I can fall asleep with, what is it, Pop TV now? What the fuck is
Pop
it?
TV.
Pop TV, I got it right. God damn it. I'll leave it on, Pop TV all night long, so that way you guys can get like 3 or 4 times the view. I'll watch the replays when I'm sleeping.
I don't think they...
Maybe I'll start doing that. I'll just leave Pop TV on just to help out TNA. I won't even watch it. I'll just help them out with the one view. Let's do that. Everybody that listens to the show, just leave it on. Help them out, dude. It's like charity work. Just help them out. Just leave it on. You don't even have to watch it. Help them out. They need it.
This is wrong. They could use the help, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't even get the channel anymore.
You're doing the work of God, man. Help them out. Extend the hand.
Somebody is looking out for him. I'll tell you that.
Man, that could be you. That could be you.
Not me.
Motivate yourself. Help out TNA. Let's get that going. Hashtag help out TNA.
There you go.
Leave TV on. Leave your TV on pop.
There you go.
But Tajiri's coming to 205 Live. I'll watch this.
I need to watch that. I haven't yet, but I definitely should. I should be watching it.
Whoa.
What?
Dude. Sam Roberts.
Yep.
Is going to be hosting the pre-show for what is it, Roadblock this weekend? He's going to be hosting that. I mean, that's
so.
I kind of expected it. Eventually, I thought he was going to get a job in the company.
So they ditched Lawler for Sam Roberts.
Well, they're going to rotate people. It's going to be podcasters, YouTubers, famous, radio personalities. It's like Peter Rosenberg from Hot 97 is going to be doing it for
YouTubers
sure.
and podcast. Oh, well, yeah, nothing can go wrong here.
I mean, I'm sure they're going to get the podcast that are like fucking, I can't even name one out there that doesn't shit on the WWE from time to time. But I'm sure there's some out there.
Jericho's got a podcast. Steve, whoever's in their pocket.
Well, I meant out of that like inner circle.
Oh no.
I'm not counting like Steve Austin and
No, they're not going to go too far outside of their inner bubble, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, goodbye to Jerry Lawler and Lita. She's going too. Which I can't say I'll miss either one of them. I don't really care.
Lita, I feel more sorry about Lita. I like seeing her.
Oh, you can go back to the network and watch her. She wasn't offering much nowadays anyway.
I like Lita. I did. She's hot. Hot, I say. Hot. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what is a Roadblock? Do you want to talk about that real quick? You want to do some predictions? Even though I haven't watched it, I'll take
we
a
can.
guess.
I've got the matches here.
All right, fuck it. Also, I guess Wrestle Kingdom 11, January, dude, January 13th.
Wow.
Is it
already?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It's coming out. Actually, I looked at the card earlier. It looks fucking great. We'll get into that after we do our predictions.
This fucking year flew by, dude.
You watched Wrestle Kingdom 2 years ago?
Yep. Excellent show 2 years ago. That was the year with Nakamura and AJ?
No, it was AJ and Ibushi.
Yes.
It was Nakamura
and
I remember the main event was Okada and Tanahashi.
Exactly. That's you're right. You've got the right show. I completely forgot who he took on that show, but
now AJ Styles faced he faced Nakamura on the last Wrestle Kingdom.
There you go.
2016 one, which was a fucking fantastic match. Highly recommend that as well. But yeah, I don't remember who Nakamura faced actually on that show. I want to say Ibushi though.
I think you're right, but I don't know.
No, I want to say AJ Styles faced Ibushi, Tanahashi and Okada, and then I don't know who faced Nakamura.
Okay, cool.
Can't figure it out. Anybody in the chat room who faced Nakamura at WrestleMania or Wrestle Kingdom 9, I believe.
That's the one I saw. There you go. There you go.
Did we review that? We did that, didn't we? Yeah, with JR being on the. I think we did.
I think we did it.
Yeah, I think we did.
We definitely talked about it. I mean, I don't know if we did it like right after or something, but we did it.
Oh, we started in 2014?
Yeah, we're 2.5 years right now, man.
Yeah, 2014 we started. So yeah, we did it.
Fucking 2.5 years right now, man.
Yeah, shit fucking flies, dude. We're almost at 3 years. It's
Still
crazy.
haven't figured this audio thing out, but we're working on it. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry. We're just trying to go viral on fucking Botchamania. We're gonna botch it so much that Matthew will give us some fucking attention.
We're not even a blip. So, but
we're not Botchamania worthy.
Not yet. But all right, let's do this real quick. Let's knock this out. I've only got 7 matches listed here. First match I have is Big Cass with Enzo versus Rusev with Lana. Singles match.
Wait, mix?
No. Well,
mixed
no. Unless Enzo is a woman. Big Cass and Enzo with Rusev. Basically, Cass and Enzo and Rusev. Basically, Cass and Rusev. How's that?
Definitely Cass.
Yeah. I think they're gonna let Rusev win. There might be some fuckery, but meanwhile, Lana.
They love Cass from the beginning.
I'm loving
when Enzo suffered that injury, that concussion. You can tell
Lana is looking fucking hot, dude. They've got her. They've got her on Total Divas sans accent, no accent on Total Divas, which surprises me because they used to have her with the accent. But they've got her on Total. She loves showing the boobies. Wow. Good. She's a good egg. Yeah, but I think I actually think Rusev's going to win. I think they're really trying to give Rusev a little push key. So,
dude, I don't know about that, man. I honestly feel like Rusev has just slowly declined. He's constantly I feel like he's regressing. Not in the ring or anything. I think his ability is getting better by the day, but he's being depushed. You know, it just feels like in the beginning when they brought him out. What did we say? When he debuted, we were like, all right, yo, this dude is cool. I don't know if you can recall. I love the guy from the beginning. And I was like, yo, they're going to build him up and they're going to feed him to Cena. And then after that, it's the shits. And look at it 2.5 years later. Exactly what happened.
Pretty much. But I mean, dude, they do what we've talked about 1,000 times. The old shove it down your throat until you want to fucking puke. They're in every segment. Every week, 3, 4 segments. Put them in a commercial. Put them in a commercial. Put them in another commercial. So, you know, after a month or two, you're like, oh, enough already. Just like they're going to do with Bayley. Just like they're going to do with a bunch of people. And it seems to be Raw doing it more than SmackDown. But they're going to do it with a bunch of people. And they've been doing it forever. So, all right, anyway.
Well, Raw got an extra hour.
Yeah,
that's why.
Wonderful. New Day versus Cesaro and Sheamus, obviously for the Raw Tag Team Championships.
Now, are they past the
Yes.
record? Okay. All right, so that's a rough one. I don't know. I'm guessing they'll keep it. Though.
Actually,
No,
you know what?
no.
I think it's time to take it off of him. They broke the record.
Yeah, I think because that's the only way that Sheamus and Cesaro will actually stay as a team is if they win the titles. Right?
I don't know.
Because I mean, after that, it's kind of pointless to. If they lose again, it's kind of pointless to, stay as a team.
Cesaro could do so much better at this point on the Indies, but whatever.
They're not doing anything. Dude. They're not doing anything with him. He might as well get over as a tag team. And Sheamus, that's he's much better with Cesaro. I'm sure
He's better with somebody,
You know?
because then you don't have to listen to him the whole time.
Exactly.
So,
and that's half the in-ring time that you will see Sheamus in. That's great.
I guess so. So yeah, I think it might be time to get the titles off those guys. They're doing the same. We just talked about every segment, every week, every day, new day. Another one they're doing the same thing too. Next match, we're going to have Braun Strowman versus Sami Zayn. We go old school with a 10-minute time limit. Yeah. Old school.
I'm going to go with Sami Zayn.
I think Sami Zayn's going to do something crazy to pull this out, too. Or, with the time limit, I believe Braun may just beat him senseless until the time limit, and there will be it'll be a no contest, no winner. That's my opinion.
Actually, yeah, that makes more sense. I'll go with that.
Yeah, I believe that'll be what happens. Sami Zayn will get some good offense in here and there.
Yeah, they're trying to build him up as an underdog. They'll just have people feel bad for him. They're trying to get that sympathetic, baby face going on, and people will feel sympathy for him once they see him fucking get the shit kicked out of him for 10 minutes straight. It's kind of like Mikey Whipwreck, guys like that, Spike Dudley.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
just
exactly.
Beat the shit out of him, get the fucking sympathy on him, and then build him up from there. We've got a triple threat match, of course. It's been all WWE's been doing is triple threats. Rich Swann versus T.J. Perkins versus the Brian Kendrick for the Cruiserweight Championship, or the Purple People Eater title, as I call it.
Rich Swann for sure.
Okay. Swann's going to keep it? All right.
Yeah, he's the best one out of them, man. He's the most charismatic. And again, super fucking happy for that guy, man. I mean, that's awesome that he made it.
Like I said last week, that guy's fucking entertaining from the time he hits the fucking camera. The second he's on camera, he's entertaining the whole time. We go from that match to a 30-minute Iron Man match, or Iron Woman match, for the WWE Raw Women's Championship. Sasha Banks versus Charlotte.
Now, before I answer this, I'm pretty sure Rich Swann did his own theme music.
I don't know.
If I had to guess, I would say he did his own theme.
Well, he knows every fucking word, so maybe.
That and he's a musician.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I remember that. I remember that video. He's playing guitar in a few videos. So, yeah, he probably did.
Yeah. He did. He was singing that CZW song for Kevin
Steen. That's right. That's right.
I'm going to go with Sasha because she never wins on pay-per-view.
I think they're going to keep Sasha with this. Yeah. I think so, too. So, meanwhile, it's going to be a good... they're really giving these two women some really good matches. I dare to say they're trying to make these two women kind of the Shawn Michaels... Brett.
Go ahead.
Actually, I'm thinking more of the Shawn Michaels, Scott Hall kind of.
Fuck out of here.
Fuck Bret Hart.
Scott Hall.
Yeah, they did the old, the first ladder match and shit
Hall.
like that. I don't want to talk about Bret Hart. It's going to depress me.
He wasn't even the fucking champion.
I know, but still, it's going to depress me.
Yeah, but the fact that you can't even sit here and at least acknowledge that Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels was a fucking thing
no.
that carried the company.
I could admit it. I don't want to. There's a difference. I could admit it. I don't want to.
But though. At heart, so that's all that matters. It doesn't matter. Bret Hart is great. Fucking great. Get out.
Anyway, let's go past that. Seth Rollins versus Chris Jericho for a singles match.
I actually, I didn't know this was happening. This would be a good match. I'll probably watch it just for this and the Kevin Owens match.
Which is
this is gonna be a good match. It's good. Jericho and fucking Rollins. I'm sure it's probably happened on Raw one time, but It's kind of like a little dream match, if you will. I mean, not anymore, I guess, since they've been in the same company for so long. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
I
think Rollins is going to pull this out. Jericho has never had a problem getting the new guys, not new, but you know what I mean, getting the younger guys over. So I see Rollins taking this one. What about you? All right,
Yeah,
all right.
definitely.
And we'll just go to the last match for the WWE Universal Championship. Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns.
Now, is Roman Reigns still the U.S.
Yes,
champion?
he is.
Why is it tight?
I don't know. I'll tell you what. If you didn't notice the other night, Roman Reigns picked up that title, and the
I didn't
crowd
watch, though.
didn't react. They didn't even boo. They were just like,
In Philly?
and
In Philly?
yeah, yep.
It's weird because the first time we booed him out of the fucking building.
Mm-hmm.
Second time they cheered him, and then the third time it's just like meh.
Yeah, I know. I think they're going to leave that on Owens. They would be insane to put that belt on Roman Reigns right now. If they do that, I think people will just be like, "Fuck this company. I ain't watching no more. No more."
Well, do you remember going back to and we got a caller here. I'll see if it's Ricky O. If not, I'll probably have to add you in, Boxman.
Do what you got to do, man. Whatever you got to do, bro.
All right, 203. You're on the line. Who is this?
Hey, what's up, man? This is Ricky O.
Hey, what's going on, man?
How are you guys?
Doing well. Obviously, that's my bad for not sending the number out earlier. We would have had him on.
Oh, that's okay, man. I actually just got out of work, so it worked out.
All right, cool. All right, well, we got Ricky O on the show, special guest, former owner of Jersey Championship Wrestling. You may know Jersey Championship Wrestling as Game Changer now. Just a couple, quick questions for you. Well, actually, I got a few questions for you. But more recently, you announced that you're retiring from the pro wrestling business. You want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, I just really felt that it was time. It's 23 years in the business, and it takes a lot out of you, and it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of hard work. And right now, my family and I, we've opened up a business in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've been down here 11 months full time. I haven't really been. I've come back and forth to New Jersey a couple times for shows, but it was I couldn't really get to the point where I needed to be with dedication at this point. And sometimes real life just gets in the way of fun, and this is one of those times.
Yeah, for sure. Boxman, you got a question for him?
Yeah, I guess on that, we can kind of start out with, getting from the end of your wrestling career to the beginning of how did you kind of get started in wrestling?
Oh, it's a pretty funny story. I was sitting in front of the TV one day watching WWF TV on UHF TV, and I'm watching the Yukon Lumberjacks take on two job guys. And my mom is watching wrestling with me. I was about 7 or 8 years old, and she goes, "Oh, there's my friend Pete." And I said, "What do you mean?" She says, "That's Pete Reeves. I went to high school with him, and it was one of the guys that was doing the jobs for the WWE at the time." And from that day forward, I just started writing that guy. At the time, there was no email. I mean, I'm 45 years old, so it was a different world. I started writing the guy to the WWE and sending him letters. And I was about 14 or 15, and he just came over one day and was like, "Hey, I'm Pete. You sent me about 50 letters. I'm a friend of your mom's." He's like, "Do you want to train?" And I was like, "Yeah, real into it." But I was I was young. I was only 14 or 15. I was still in school, pursuing a baseball career at the time. So I trained with him for a little while, on and off. And then years later, after I was done, he gave up my hope of playing pro baseball. Iron Man Tommy Cairo had a professional wrestling school in Garfield, New Jersey, and I started training with Tommy. And we put a show together for a friend of mine who was paralyzed in an accident. And that's how I got into the promoting of it. In 1992, we ran my first show. And I was just hooked at that point because it was so much more work went into promoting and getting the word out and selling tickets. And at that time in New Jersey, you had a state athletic commission. You had to appease and keep it on, keep it on your side, or they didn't let you run. And that's how I got into promoting. Me and Tommy ran a show. It was very successful. Your first show I ever ran, I drew about 1,600 people, and I was hooked from that point forward.
Wow, a good happy wrestling story. Holy shit! All right.
Yeah.
It's out there.
Look at
It's
that.
possible. Now, Ricky, obviously, I'm from Philly. You know, I've been to the shows. Boxman, he's from Texas, but you know, I'm from Philly, so I'm very much familiar with the ECW arena, the Jersey crowd, and the whole Northeast. What do you think makes the Northeast fans different from the rest? What do you think makes this crowd? Not to put ourselves over, but what makes.
Well, I think the whole Northeast should be put over, because if you go back historically and look at professional wrestling, I would say 70 or 80% of your, if not more, big stars have all had to make it on the East Coast first. And also, at the time, there's little sections of the world that were huge in wrestling. There was Texas with the Funks, there was Florida with the Grams, there was Georgia Championship Wrestling, and there was the Mid-Atlantic, and there was New York. And if you look back at the time, when New York, Philadelphia, Boston, and Maine were the big territory for the WWF, that was the boom in pro wrestling. Then you take it to Hogan, and, what was the mecca of pro wrestling? It's Madison Square Garden, and anything they did at the Garden, they tried out at the Spectrum, and if it worked at the Spectrum and they brought it to the Garden, they brought it to the Boston Garden at the time, and it set the tone for professional wrestling. Then on top of that, you had your best wrestling schools, were like the Monster Factory and places like that, have always been East Coast stalwarts, and I just think there's a flavor. I think the culture of the East Coast helps set the tone for everything.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of New Jersey, obviously, we're going to get back into JCW in a minute, but another guy that, I admired and I thought he was great, and, once again, rest in peace to Fat Frank. Any thoughts on Jersey All Pro? Like, I know back in the day you guys were basically, doing shows at the same time. Was there any kind of tension between Jersey All Pro and Jersey Championship Wrestling, or was it kind of like...
Never at all. Fat Frank, God rest his soul, he was taken from us way too early. One of my best friends I ever had in wrestling. Frank and I would talk, behind the scenes on the phone, on the computer. We would schedule our shows so we didn't run on the same nights. I think if we each ran 500 shows over the years, I think maybe 3 of them were ever on the same night.
Yeah.
We had no tension whatsoever. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met. His partners, Pierre and Jeff, are 2 great guys and never had a problem with either one of them. And there was like a brother-sister relationship. I would say they were the big brother. They ran bigger budgeted shows and were a little more on edge. Early on, there was the mayor of Bayonne was trying to shut down JAP for the blood and the violence and hardcore wrestling. They tried to pass that bill in New Jersey to shut them down. And I actually went on News 12 and debated the mayor of Bayonne and made him look like a fool for JAP. Which at any other time, if it was any other promoter or anything like that, I could have actually put a nail in their coffin.
Yeah.
And instead, I went to bat for my competition because I thought that highly of them, and we always had a great relationship. They're just great guys.
Yeah, for sure, man. Jersey All Pro, obviously, it's still going. Fat Frank, he was definitely he was somebody that I only met a handful of times, but every time I held a conversation with the guy, you could just kind of tell from the aura from the guy that he was super motivational and he was really passionate about wrestling.
He was nuts. He's one of the greatest wrestling. He's one of those guys in wrestling that you could write a book about. He was funny. He was crazy. He didn't care what he said, who he said it to. He loved to eat and he loved to laugh, and that was Frank's personality. And again, he was just taken way too soon from us.
Yeah, definitely. Another couple promoters that used to do shows in the Northeast that I just want to get your thoughts on. Mass Maniac, obviously, the guy's got tons of stories out there. Any thoughts on USA Pro and Mass Maniac?
Hey, I don't really know Frank that well. We ran at the same time. We both had mutual friends in Dennis Corluzzo. He did his thing. I did mine. Over the years, we've become better friends due to the internet. But I got nothing bad to say about Frank. He's definitely a character.
Yeah, for sure. Well, he loves Disney. We know that.
He's there every day.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of Dennis Corluzzo and NWA. NWA New Jersey was something, I was a kid at the time, so I wasn't too familiar with it. But, overall, over the years, with tape trading and everything else, I kind of caught up to it. Speaking of him, a guy that he used a lot was Reckless Youth, which was a guy that you used in the J Cup. He was a guy that I actually thought had a lot of talent, and I just, it was unfortunate to never see him like on WWE or TNA or anything like that. But obviously, he got a shot with the WWE, just never worked out. Any thoughts on Reckless Youth? Because I know you booked him a few times.
Oh, more than a few times. I'd say Reckless Youth was probably on 250 JCW shows over the year.
Damn.
You mentioned Dennis Corluzzo. Dennis was my idol, my father, all-around motivation to stay in professional wrestling. Just absolutely a father figure to me. But as far as Reckless Youth, the best non-W, you hit it on the head. But the thing that people don't know wasn't that it didn't work out. Is that Tom Carter is an accountant and had his own very successful business at the time and didn't want to give up what he did for a living for something that was non-guaranteed. And he chose not to go full-time with ECW or other companies at the time. He's super talented. I have matches with him with Low Key. I had him with Spike Dudley, Chris Chetty, Steve Carino in JCW, Alpha Jr., the stuff that was just, he was just him and Quackenbush at the time were tearing it up all over the East Coast.
Yep.
And he was just never a headache. He's a guy that would come in your locker room, shake your hand, get dressed, sit down, have his match, and go home. Never a word out of him, never nothing bad.
Yeah, I briefly touched on the whole J-Cup. A guy that you actually used in the beginning of his career was CM Punk and guys like Daniel Bryan. Any thoughts on working with those guys?
Yeah, I mean, it was a thrill for me. It was back at the time when I was doing the J-Cup. It was, I definitely stole it from Japan. I'm never going to take credit for being the first guy to have a tournament.
Right.
But it was an opportunity for me to bring in guys that, at the time, again, it was the internet, which was just in its infancy, and I would go out and put on different message boards all over the country. Who's the best in Chicago? Who's the best in LA? Who's the best in Florida? Who do you guys think is your best worker? And we'd sit down and reach out to those people. And CM Punk was, he was a pisser. The guy, he was a great guy. He was easy to deal with. No headaches. I was the first people. What people don't realize, and this is something I'm very proud of, and I want to put over now that I've retired, is that JCW was the first people to use CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Billy Fives. All of these guys never had come to New Jersey or New York and worked for anybody before they were on JCW. There was no Ring of Honor. And I just brought this up on a show the other day. Rob Feinstein actually used to film my J-Cups and came to me after the one at the Rexplex, which was the finals for CM Punk and Reckless Youth. And he was like, hey, you got to do this every single weekend. He's like, you're onto something with this J-Cup, but you can't do it once a year. And I was like, Rob, it's kind of hard. It's very expensive. It's a lot of travel. I work full-time as an administrator in a hospital. I don't really have, that kind of effort to put into it. And Rob, like a week later, came to me and was like, hey, I'm starting my own company, and I'm going to do this thing called Ring of Honor. And Rob got the idea from the J-Cups, and he'll be the first to tell you, and he took it to a next level, which is what happens. And, they did a good job until he did whatever he did, and he had to get out of the company. And it's Ring of Honor still alive today. And it's, everybody adds a little niche to wrestling, and I kind of think that JCW's little niche was we found talent before other people did.
Yeah, I think that was very similar to Fat Frank also. He found a ton of talent. Like, I think the Canadians, Sami Zayn, now known as Sami Zayn, El Generico, and Kevin Steen, now Kevin Owens. I think, if I could be wrong, it may have been CZW, but I'm pretty sure Jersey All Pro brought those guys in first.
Right. And plus, don't forget it, homegrown Jay Lethal, the Hit Squad. I mean, Low Key, those guys all came out of their wrestling school, and they went on to become, just huge.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I briefly talked about CZW. CZW, of course, had Best of the Best. Were you doing J-Cup before Best of the Best?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think that had any kind of influence on Zandig trying that out?
I think a lot of people started tournaments after we did, but Jim Kettner was the godfather of the tournaments on the East Coast, and Jim did wonderful things and had great tournaments and with the Super 8 and stuff like that. And everybody had their own little niche. Then Ted Petty came in years later after that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm just proud that the J-Cup, we were more of bringing guys in on a first time basis than other people.
Yeah, definitely. Boxman, you got a question?
Kind of a question about the promoters. You mentioned Dennis a little while ago. Any other big influence on you as far as promoters that did keep you going?
Dennis by far was the best. I mean, I'll tell you a funny Dennis Corluzzo story. Dennis was the type of guy that you either loved Dennis Corluzzo or you hated Dennis Corluzzo. But if you loved him and you were one of his, as he called us, his boys, and it was a great circle. There was, Donnie B and Nova and me and Reckless Youth and Don Montoya, Danny Inferno, Rick Ratchet. There was like a handful of guys that he really took care of all the time. But Dennis was a funny guy. He came to me one day. I had a sold-out show, and he's like, hey, Doug Gilbert and Tommy Rich missed their plane. You got to give me another $150 tonight, right away. Get into the money tonight. He's like, we got to change airline tickets. And I was like, oh, come on, Dennis, really? They missed the flight, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of money. He's like, just get it to me. So I give him the $150. We go to the next day of the show. We're setting the ring up. And here comes Doug Gilbert and Tommy Rich in like a Ford Pinto with like 50 Confederate flag bumper stickers and a whole back seat full of beer. And I looked at Dennis, and he looks at me and he goes, oh, wasn't it nice of those people in Enterprise to give those two fucking dumb rednecks a car that made them feel at home?
Yeah.
So, you know, it was just, that was Dennis. Like, you know, he had no problem taking money from anybody, but he would always do everything in the world to just make you feel good about yourself. And he was a great guy. And the other guy who I brought up was Jim Kettner. Jim Kettner had a big influence on me with the Haas brothers. I personally watched Jim Kettner. I came up to them one day and said, Jim, you got to see these guys JAP has. I'm going to use them against Rich and Gilbert. They're less than Charlie Haas. I brought them in. It was an old school tag match. It ripped the house down. And Kettner came right up to me. He was like, introduce me to those guys. I'm taking them right to Vince. And that was how the Haas's got, you know, discovered. It was right then and there. It was boom. Jim Kettner made one phone call, and the next thing you know, they were on the way to becoming really big stars. And Jim was just another guy. He was family oriented. He did his thing. He never had. Nobody has anything bad to say about Jim Kettner because he just went out and worked real hard and made himself very successful.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like any of the Northeast promotions were ever, you know, coming for JCW's head?
Oh, of course. There's you know, up until even like last year, I was having problems with people. You know, there was a very famous incident, which really, I mean, it changed the face of JCW and it changed the face of East Coast wrestling. I had a building in Rahway, the Rahway Rec Center, booked for a show in October 2001. It was right after 9/11. And I had a show booked and had the building and had a bunch of tickets pre-sold. And I got a phone call from the building that the show was canceled. And I was like, what do you mean? It's the night before the show and all the airfare's in, all the wrestlers are in. And at the time, it was the season of Tough Enough. We had like 3 or 4 that the people from Tough Enough were booked on the show. And we found out years later that one of the NWS promoters, figure out which one, scumbag, had called the building right after 9/11 and called in a bomb threat. And we lost the building, which now has gone on to become the home of, you know, WrestlePro. And they were able to get that building after years of them not allowing wrestling. They got their foot in the door, and that's the hottest building on the whole East Coast right now is that Rahway Rec Center.
Yeah, honestly, you know what? I was at the Jersey.
One incident.
Yeah, I was at the 20th anniversary Jersey All Pro show, and you know, obviously they had Kevin Matthews there, and they had Pat Buck there in a match against the Private Party, I think is their name. And there was a lot of, you know, WrestlePro chants, and Kevin Matthews came out of nowhere, and he was like, you know, recognize that we built this fucking building, you know, meaning WrestlePro. And, you know, in my head, I'd like to give Jersey All Pro credit, because I feel like Jersey All Pro did many years in that Rahway Rec Center.
Well, here's the deal with professional wrestling. Now, I went many years using Kevin Matthews early in his career. Then there was about a 5 to 7 year period where we hated each other and couldn't look at each other and probably would have killed each other if we had a chance. And now the last 3 years, we're cool again and there's no heat.
Yeah.
Everyone in professional wrestling has an ego, otherwise they wouldn't be in the business. They have a narcissistic side to them where they think they're the greatest thing in the world. I mean, shit, I just saw a tape of Gino Moore in action with Jim Cornette on the commentary. If you didn't get a chance to see that, please do watch that. Gino Moore, famous Dennis's ex-partner, who went on to be Joe Panzerino's scumbag partner, and was always made fun of by the boys. They actually found video of him wrestling in the ring and, you know, whatever. But
yeah,
everyone in this business is partially crazy and takes credit for little things that they make into big things. But WrestlePro, I mean, that's an amazing company. Now with Pat Buck in charge, I don't even want to mention his former partner.
Yeah,
not somebody on my good list. But I would say that Pat Buck's doing a fantastic job. I would say Kevin Matthews. Listen, is there anybody else in the business that's as good as a self-promoter as he is? He made his own name. He got his name out there. They do a fantastic job. I agree with you more of when you ask me about that building. I think of it as a JAP building, but they've done a phenomenal job there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've been to a few, whatever, formerly known as PWS. I've been to a few shows, and I've been very honest on the show. The shows that I do like, I rave about it. The shows that I don't like, I'm going to be honest about it. And PWS just wasn't for me. JP, Game Changer, CZW. Those are typically like the shows that I go to. And like the owner that I'm not going to drop his name either. I've mentioned him on the show before. I've had not a very good experience with him either. So. You're not the only one. You're not the first one to say this on the show. I think any former promoter from the East Coast that's been on the show has definitely said that.
Well, that's one that stood out. And if you notice, there's a thing in wrestling called longevity, and anybody could be a 4 or 5 year flash in the pan when you're robbing people and you're doing shady shit.
Right.
But when you could do a 20-year career, 23-year career, 25 years in the business, and survive and be able to walk away and be humble and have nice people like you asked me to come on, and other people have asked me to come on. I got asked to do a shoot interview tonight. I'm a nobody, I had fun. I did what I love to do. I burned bridges and I've rebuilt bridges, and I've always prided myself on one person who hates my guts in this wrestling business, and I hope we made up, was Cole Cabana. Cole Cabana's another guy, first time on the East Coast from JCW, wrestled a whole crap load of my shows. We were friends for many years. We had a bad falling out. About 2 years ago, you tried to mend the fence. Last year, I think we mended it. I like to not leave on a negative note with anyone, because you never know when that person is going to need you or you're going to need that person.
Would you mind if I asked what the falling out was about, or?
Oh, it was over a booking that was through a third party, and somebody, gave him a price and a date, and we moved the show. That was what happened. We lost the building on Friday, because if you remember JCW, we did a lot of like BFWs, a lot of Knights of Columbus building, stuff like that, where we were doing fundraising shows. And there was a situation where the show had to be pushed to a different week, and it cost him a weekend that he had blocked out, and he got angry, and something was said, and whatever, it was just blowing up. And he's probably, I'm going to tell you right now, he's probably the most entertaining guy in professional wrestling. I listen to his podcast every week. I think he's super, super talented. And here's a little known fact. Cole Cabana, as Scotty Goldman, I believe was his name in the WWE, right, on SmackDown, got myself, the Heavenly Bodies, Danny D'Amato, Kevin Matthews, Ref Bennett. There was about 8 of us. And we live 3 hours from Albany, New York, and he called us about 2 hours and 20 minutes and said, Vince is standing right next to me. I need 8 guys. The extras didn't show up. Could you guys get here and get on TV tonight? We're filming 2 weeks worth of SmackDown, and I need you guys here now. And I got 8 guys into my Hummer, and we made it to Albany, New York in 2 hours and 15 minutes on a 3-hour ride. And it was really cool to have my cell phone ring and have it be Vince McMahon and ask me, where are you? How close to the building are you? And I'm like, we're literally at the red light in front of the building. He's like, pull in front of the building, leave your vehicle there. My security will park your car and run to ringside.
Nice.
And that's exactly what all 8 of us did. We ran down into the building, down the flight of stairs, out to the ring, and shook our hands, handed us a shirt that said security, told us what we had to do that night. That was the big Edge and Triple H feud that was going on at the time. And we all worked 2 weeks worth of SmackDown and got paydays, and Vince McMahon tipped me off a huge handful of cash on the way out and said, thank you for getting there like a maniac and driving the way you did. And that was how most of us ever made our TV debut for WWE, was because of Colt. And I'll never forget that, and can't thank him enough for it.
That's awesome.
Nice, man. Now who did you take up with you?
Danny D'Amato, Kevin Matthews, Justin Carino, Ref Bennett, who's now a full-time WWE employee. And I'm missing a couple people because I just don't remember. But we were all there and just had a great time. I think Bull Dempsey was with us, too.
Wow.
Nice. Now, obviously, I told you I'm from Philly, so the ECW arena hits home with me. Now, is there a reason JCW kind of never invaded the ECW arena? Because obviously, as soon as they left, CZW, 3PW, even Chikara, Ring of Honor, pretty much every promotion, even Jersey All Pro, kind of tried their shot at it. Is there a reason you guys never went in there?
We just never really had a chance to go down there. To be honest with you, Roger's a great guy. We just did a show there. There was a lot of behind-the-scenes shit that really hurt that show, and it's a shame that what happened. We'll get into that, I'm sure, later. But it's a beautiful building. It's got a lot of history in there. But you also remember they stopped doing wrestling for a little while, and then there was a time where they had probably 2 shows every weekend for like 3 years, and you couldn't even get a date in the building.
Yeah.
So it wasn't ever purposely done. It was just really never, the timing was never right. I would have loved to have done a J Cup there.
Yeah, definitely, man. That would have been nice. Now, because I originally thought it was because it was Jersey Championship Wrestling, which I'm sure is a reason you changed it from Jersey Championship Wrestling to Game Changer.
It is. That's 100% the reason.
Okay. And that was actually my next question. But, it is actually really smart because when I came in to Game Changer World the first time for TOS Tournament of Survival with Zandig, it was cool because the venue is fucking amazing. That's probably my favorite venue right now, including the ECW arena, because the arena's changed so much. It's not the same anymore.
There's no atmosphere there anymore.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's too clean.
Yeah, dude. There's actual bathrooms. It's just not the same anymore.
I'll tell you a great ECW arena story. I was working for Dennis Corluzzo, and that was our top enemy at the time. And one of us was going to make it, ECW or the NWA, and the whole thing with Shane Douglas with the belt and everything really kicked off a major feud. And Gino Moore would call the fire marshal on ECW and say there was too many people in the building and try to get them shut down, and they would fuck with Gino Moore back and whatever. But there was an incident at the arena, and I got a phone call, and Dennis was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm sitting home watching college football." And he said, "I need you to do me a favor." And I said, "What's that?" And he says, "I need you to drive with Crowbar," who at the time was Devin Storm. He's like, "Devin's going to go work for ECW." He's like, "I brokered a deal with Paulie." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, I'm never going to be able to pay the guy what he deserves, and they want to use him on TV. So I gave my blessing, and I just want somebody to go down and make sure he's safe. And me and Crowbar drove down, and we got to the building, and they brought us to the back door because he was the mystery opponent. That was when Taz was bringing guys in from all different promotions and choking them out in 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Devin Storm got about 8 minutes with him. But I was sitting in the back, and I remember Sandman looking up at me, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing in our locker room?" And I was like, "Hey, man, I'm just here in peace. I drove, Devin." And then Perry Saturn walked over. He's like, "Go fucking wait outside." And I'm like, "No, I'm not going outside. It's freezing." And he's like, "Get the fuck out of our locker room." And they tried to muscle me out of the locker room. And at the time, they didn't know I was really good friends with Ron and Don Harris, the Harris brothers.
Yeah.
And there was a whole big incident backstage where the Harris brothers squared off with Perry Saturn and John Cronus, and a fight broke out for them trying to throw me out of the locker room. And then Paulie just came up to me very nicely and was like, "Go up by Joey Styles and sit up there and just please get out of the room before these guys kill each other over you." And that was my welcome to ECW.
That's pretty awesome, man. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on Paul Heyman? Obviously, he helped you out once. So, what do you think of him?
Well, he saved my life once, and then Paulie. Little known fact about Paulie. Paulie's email used to be ecwpencil@aol.com, and he had no problem if you were a promoter and wanted to run an idea past him, or if you just had an idea, or if you had a talent you wanted to show him. It might take 6 months to answer you, or it might take 30 seconds. But he would answer you back, and he would talk to you, and or if he saw this happen with me, he saw what I was doing with a J Cup and said, "Make this match happen. I want to see it." And he tweeted, how we were going to do something, and shot me an email. And I have not one bad word to say about the guy. He was always super nice, and I love this product. I mean, I'm a kid of ECW. I think it was the greatest era of wrestling ever.
He's that kind of guy still. He always says that, his information is one of your best weapons. So he still loves getting information from as many people as he can, as much as he can. So,
yeah. Did you see the new round table on the network with him and the Dudleys? And I mean, if you watch that show, it just comes. I mean, and you see Tommy Dreamer just break down at the end with the thank you to Paulie and how much he meant to those guys. And if you ever get a chance to interview other promoters who have ever dealt with guys from ECW, there's never a bad word said. Tommy Dreamer might be the single nicest human being in the history of pro wrestling, and that's a shoot.
Yeah.
Bubba Dudley is this mean, badass character in the world. You book Bubba, and he'll sit in the back and go over things with you, talk to you. He'll try to connect you with different people. If you say, "Oh, I'm just using a name. I'm looking for Kimona. Here's her number. I'll pass your number to her first, and here's hers, and I'll get you guys in contact. I'll broker a deal." And he's always looking to help people who have helped him and booked him. those guys are always been just a different breed. I think they appreciate the business more than guys who've had it handed to them and gone through the WWE's developmental system and force-fed on fans.
Yeah, we may have mentioned something like that once or twice on this show before also. Since we're on the subject of promoters, what were some of your thoughts on CZW when Zandig first took it over and started running shows?
Absolutely crazy. I mean, I didn't think, it's weird because, and this is something that bothers me, but, I got away with things in New Jersey, and there was a lot of times, different people weren't allowed to do different things. Like, you go into Philadelphia, there used to be an athletic commissioner there named Frank. I believe his last name was Talent, but I'm getting old, I might have forgot. But you come in and you get a list of things, and you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't bleed, you can't do this, you can't go to the outside, we're not allowing this tonight. And you're like, are you kidding me? No, you can't do it. Because, we've run Philadelphia with the NWA. We've run it, in Pennsylvania with JCW, and I've done joint shows with guys like Don Montoya and his promotion, and we weren't allowed to do certain things. And then you go to the ECW arena, and you got a guy who's sticking fish hooks through his back and suspended himself from the ceiling, and blood and weed whackers. And you're like, whoa, what the hell? We couldn't do that. But it was a niche that turned into a fad, that turned into a phenomenon. And they took it to another level, and I don't really ever wish bad on anybody. I'm not that type of guy. They did a great thing, and I'm happy for them. It created jobs. It kept people busy, and they've had their title recognized all over the world, and they did a phenomenal job. And John has come back in the last year and helped GCW, and, we put together the Tournament of Survival. He was a big part of it. The spot with Joey Janela jumping off the roof, and ESPN picked this up, and TMZ picked this up, and the British Mirror, the newspaper in London, England, published an article about the show. So I can't say anything bad about John either.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. What made you change Jersey Championship over the years? Because, in the beginning, it was kind of like the indie darlings, and it was more, the indie-style wrestling. And then further down the years, you started to use kind of like former WWE guys to bring in, like Scott Hall, X-Pac, and other guys. Is there a reason you started to do that?
Well, there's two reasons you do that. One, you got to get the guys that are 15 and 16 that can't drive to the show, that know the super indie names, and you want them to come see the Joey Janellas or the Gacy's or the guys that are over with the internet,
right,
but don't have a way to get there. And how do you suck them in? You bring their mom and dad who remember Scott Hall or remember X-Pac. And, believe it or not, I mean, guys like the NWO are always going to be super over. You take Scott Hall or X-Pac anywhere, the crowd goes nuts. I mean, we had them in skate and surf and stuff like that, and they were probably the most over people in the whole place. But you also have to remember this is a business, so you got to sell as many tickets as you can, and you got to diversify. You got to give them a little bit of everything. But towards the end, when I was involved, and this was Danny DeMonto, and I got to give him full credit, they were like, we don't need that crap anymore. Get away from it again. Start, our guys have to be the main event. Our guy has to be the selling point, and I agree. And the difference sometimes about making money and being able to continue running shows is having an all-indie budget instead of having a $3,000 former WWE name who's only there to collect his paycheck and could give a shit less about you or your company.
Yeah. You mentioned Joey Janela a couple minutes ago. There's a guy who, in the last, I'd say, year and a half, really kind of made a name for himself. What's some of your thoughts on Joey, working with him and everything?
Working with him is easy as can be. Joey's probably one of the, just most humble, down-to-earth, brain-dead guys you'll ever meet in your life. He's a fantastic person. He's just a little nuts. The reason he's elevated himself is that, people forget that Joey worked for the NWS with Joe Panzerino and Gino Moore as like a space alien, a banana monkey.
Yeah.
He did all kinds of stupid things just to get on shows. And he paid his dues as hard as anyone has ever paid his dues. And then, the guys in JCW and GCW behind the scenes, we fell in love with him. It was push him to the moon. Everything we needed to do was, let's put Janela with this one. Let's put Janela with that one. Let's see what Joey can do with this one. And Chris Dickinson and Janela. And it just took off. And the kid is fearless. and he will do anything to make sure the crowd is happy. And he's a pleasure to work with.
Yeah, definitely. He's one of our first interviews, and this was before he kind of blew up. And day one, you could just tell the guy's like charismatic, and he reminds me of Trent Acid a lot. And I was a huge Trent Acid fan, and of course you used Trent before. He's the only person that over the years has really reminded me of Trent. He can do any style, charismatic guy. He can cut promos, good gimmick. He's pretty much one of the only guys.
He's revolutionary too with his new gimmicks and how they're making these little short films.
Oh yeah,
he's great at what it does. And there's a gentleman out there named John Carlo who does all of Janela's filming, and he's an asset to any wrestling company that can have the guy in his corner because his movie making ability is amazing. Now you mentioned Trent Acid. I don't know if you know this, but there's a long lost JCW show where Low Key wrestles Trent Acid in a steel cage for JCW, and it's the only time they've ever wrestled in our company. And Trent was actually a last-minute fill-in for a cancellation, and we brought in Trent Acid as a surprise, and him and Low Key just had one of the best matches in the history of our company. It's amazing.
Now, is that out?
Yeah, so shoot me an email. I'll get you a copy of it.
All right, nice. Yeah, it was actually you mentioned Feinstein before, and that's how I was introduced to Jersey Championship Wrestling. I was probably like 15 at the time, and Feinstein, he used to have a stand in the middle of the mall, Franklin Mills in Philly, and
selling everybody's bootleg tapes and never paying a promoter a dime. Yeah,
I have your JCW VHS tape right here. I got it from him probably 15 years ago. Who knows?
Oh man,
yeah,
that's funny.
That was my introduction to JCW.
Oh, poor Feinstein.
I think we finally stopped making VHS about 6 months ago.
That's good, man. That's good. Smart Mark is stepping it up.
Somebody still has a VHS player out there.
Hey man, I bought one just to convert them to
DVD. I did the same.
I can't watch them on VHS anymore.
I did the same thing.
But Ricky, one of probably one of my favorite tag teams that I thought were really underrated, and I was kind of disappointed that they didn't work the States as much as I'd like them to, are the Headhunters, and you actually brought them in, I want to say maybe like 2 years ago. Any thoughts on working with those guys? Because, those guys, I was a big mark for those guys,
Okay, I loved them. I'm an IW, I'm a Wing fan from Japan.
Right.
I loved watching them over there. I loved, Hugh Morris over there at the time. And,
right, Terminator.
The Americans, Freddy Krueger and all those guys. That stuff to me was amazing. Now, the Headhunters were guys that I held on a pedestal. Working with them was a little difficult. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They were royal pains in the asses.
Yeah.
They're both very sick. They're diabetic. They're very. I don't even know how to describe it. It wasn't a fun experience. We'll put it that way.
I can imagine. Yeah, I've reached out to get them on the show, and they're the only wrestlers that I've ever tried to get on the show where they ask for money.
They will ask you if you shake their hand, they'll ask you for $10.
Yeah, dude, it was actually to plug your show, the tag team tournament. It was the show prior to that.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, it wasn't a good experience.
Yeah, I can imagine. It was still cool to see those guys. I just wanted to see them.
Yeah. Oh, it was great, and they did a lot more than we expected them to do.
Yeah.
They went out and they worked hard, and I'm appreciative of that. It was just, there's Danny DeMonte was famous for one thing, and it's really funny. And he's a lot more level-headed than I am. I'm the blow-up, like, I want to fight somebody if they do something wrong to the company. I take everything very personal. And Danny will just look at me, and he takes his little index finger, and he flicks it towards me, and he goes, never again. And that's his thing. Like, and I got to give him credit. It's funny, but it works, because he'll get me to calm down, and he'll just be like, get them out of the building, hand them their envelope, never again. And that was one of the first people he ever looked at me and was like, never again.
Yeah. I'm sad to hear that. I like those guys. But yeah, I can imagine them being difficult to work with.
I've heard a couple of stories about them, and neither are good. So, yeah.
I booked a shoot interview with them for Rob Feinstein, and Rob was all excited and sat down, and we were ready to go, and I'm sitting there, and I think it lasted about 35 minutes.
Dude, it was terrible. It was
horrible.
Yeah, it was the worst. They didn't answer anything. Anything you asked them, they were like, "Oh, it was good. Oh, it was fine."
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, who the fuck wants to pay $20 for this? It's just...
Yeah.
But one of my first shows that I had returned to JCW was the Nick Gage tournament, the NGI. This was kind of like obviously your first time tapping into the ultraviolence waters. Were you nervous going into the show? Because I thought the shit was going to get shut down.
Okay, well, there's two funny stories to that. One, I was dead set against it and fought Brett and Danny tooth and nail. Did not want to do it. I hated the idea of doing it. I didn't like running outside in a parking lot, which I later found out was our only option because nobody else would let us run. But I got to say, I found a new respect for the guys who do that stuff that night. I grew up with Ian Rotten and Madman Pondo. The Four Corners of Death, Walt Whitman truck stop match, going back to Dennis. I've seen that stuff for many years, but I've never seen a whole show of that stuff and the work that the ring crew and the people behind the scenes went to put into making that show as successful as it was. Now, when we're sitting there, we got a packed house. The place is, we're doing really well. We're making money. The tickets are selling. We printed 200 T-shirts. They were sold out before the show even started. And we find out Nick's in jail, and he's not coming.
Right.
And I'm gonna have a heart attack at that point. And I'm like, we're gonna have to refund this whole fucking crowd, and this is gonna suck. It's our first time venturing into this, and we're gonna be done. And it was amazing how the crowd. I think if you were there, they started a "fuck the police" chant, and everybody just had a great time. There was no bad, nothing happened. But the part that nobody knows about, where I legitimately almost had a heart attack and died, there was the semi-main was in the ring, and the person on sound decided to do basically a machine gun going off when one of the guys was coming out, sounded, and it was really set up. And if you were there, you remember it was a big open field, so sound carried. Well, while the match was going on, and I'm sitting in the front of the building on a chair in the parking lot, 5 police cars came in, zipping from every corner on the place, guns drawn. One of the neighbors a couple blocks away said there was a shootout taking place in the parking lot.
He called.
And I saw them rush in, and they were like, "What's going on? Where's the shooter?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "There's shots fired, shots fired." No, it's a wrestling match. It's a sound system, bro. Calm down. And it took me like 2 minutes to get the cop to calm down, but at that point, like I said, they were coming from every corner, guns out, the whole 9 yards. They thought there was a shootout taking place, and not one fan ever noticed that was going on.
Roll to 2016. You might have a bullet in your gut right now. But
yeah, actually, I missed that show. The first show that I went to was Tournament of Survival, which is my next question. Were you nervous going into that one? Because that was inside, with a ton of light tubes and the crazy.
That was crazy. That was absolutely crazy.
I saw you.
You
were pacing back and forth, man. I saw you. You seemed like you were about to lose.
I was nervous as shit because you see, my big thing is that I always did wrestling shows where you could bring your 10-year-old and you could bring your grandmother. That was how I was brought into professional wrestling. Was you have your, if there was blood and guts or any kind of violence, it had to mean something. And I always thought that when you had a whole show full of that, it wasn't going to work. And then again, I saw the fans and how they reacted to it. I saw the passion on the guys who do it, and it changed my opinion. But that show really, really had me nervous because I knew about the Zandig Janela bump.
Right.
And I was just all day long dead set against it. And when it happened, it was traumatizing. And then when I saw them both move, I just turned and went back inside, and I think I said about 4, prayers, and that was it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure anybody that was friends with Zandig on Facebook knew that bump was coming. He was advertising it months ahead. And when we actually had him on the show, he said, "Joey's going off the roof." So everyone expected it, but it was still probably the craziest spot I've seen.
He also said he was
in person. And,
well, I think it's amazing. What people don't realize was the night it was posted.
Yeah.
The show was a mid-afternoon show. It was like a 4 o'clock start. I think it made it to Facebook and YouTube by 7:30. And it had the next morning 500,000 hits.
Yeah, it went when it got out. It went quick. Once it was on Facebook, it was on every wrestling website, and it was everywhere. Very fast, very fast.
When you got Stu Gotts calling you up asking you if they could air it on ESPN, and I'm getting calls from London asking me if they could air the footage on the news. And I'm like, come on, really? You're really from London? And then they were like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't believe you. And then they gave me the number to call in, and I called across the pond, and, you know, they're like, London Mirror, how can I help you? And gave me an extension to call, and I'm like, holy cow, this is real. Like, this made it across the world in 24 hours. And they did a story in the newspaper over there on the bump and his age and Janela being fearless, and it was just amazing. You know, I couldn't believe how. But then afterwards, if you look back and you see how dangerous it actually was, and they had a 6-foot landing spot, and if they were off 6 inches either way, somebody was dying.
Well, dude, not only that, it started raining literally 5-10 minutes after that bump.
Yeah,
that could have been.
So 5 or 10 minutes here, give or take, they wouldn't have probably been able to do that, or safely. Anyway.
Yeah, that would have.
Yeah, I don't think they would have stopped.
Yeah, probably not. No one's Zandig, probably not. But Boxman, you got another question?
Yeah. What made you actually change the name from the JCW to GCW?
Well, really what was going on was we had run New York and Queens, first time venturing into New York, and the crowd shit on me, telling me literally, I had people walking up to me going, you don't belong here, man. You're from Jersey. You from Jersey. You don't belong in Queens. You should leave. And I'm like, it's a wrestling show, bro.
Yeah.
And then we started going on tour with, Game Changer World, and we had plans to take it, we had down to Pennsylvania, and we were going to, New York State and Albany and the Rocket Derby, and we just decided that we got to change the name. And it goes back to Georgia Championship Wrestling. Now, people, I think it's the second greatest era of wrestling ever was Georgia behind ECW, but Georgia would run the Virginias, and Georgia would go into Tennessee and all over it, but it was always Georgia Championship Wrestling. And it never really got a feel as being as popular or as big as the company really was, because everybody just thought they ran Georgia. So I think we typecast ourselves by calling it Jersey Championship Wrestling, because anytime we went to go anywhere else, we were labeled as the guys from Jersey.
Right.
Yeah, that was kind of like how Philly was with New York. Philly hated New York, and New York hated Philly. But Jersey never really had Jersey never had an issue with Philly, but Jersey had an issue with New York. So that always seemed to be the case at wrestling shows.
Wrestling fans are passionate, and they're very territorial. You mentioned Tread Acid. Tread Acid in ECW Arena is God.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Hit Squad in New Jersey. Nobody can do better than the Hit Squad.
Yeah,
No matter
you
bring the Road Warriors in, and I've done this. I brought the Road Warriors in, and they got just as big a pop. And I don't know if it was as big a pop as the Hit Squad would get in my company.
Yeah. Now you mentioned the Road Warriors. You want to name some crazy names that you've brought in over the years?
Oh, I mean, where do I start? We had JCW. We had the feud with ECW, so we brought all of those guys in. So we've had the Dudleys, Spike Dudley, Chris Jetty. Then we go where we had the Road Warriors. We had Hawk and Animal multiple times. And we would say, oh, God, you put me on the spot, and I'm drawing a blank here. I'm just trying to think of the people that, CM Punk, AJ Styles, Cole Cabana, Daniel Bryan, Slick Wagner Brown, April Hunter, Kamala, Tony Atlas, Coco Beware, Dusty Rhodes.
Even Mick Foley, man. Mick Foley.
We had Mick Foley. Great Terry Funk story. We brought Terry Funk in to just do autographs in Tom's River in Brick, New Jersey, and he was supposed to just do autographs, and he asked me, oh, well, do you mind if the best Terry voice, Terry Funk, but hey, do you mind if I'll sit ringside and I scout your goddamn wrestlers and I'll give them a little synopsis? And I was like, how can I say to no to you, sir? Please. So next thing I know, the Players Club is in the main event. Danny DeMonto's working, and Terry goes to the ring, and I'm like, oh, God, what is he doing? And next thing I know, Terry Funk and Danny DeMonto are beating the living shit out of each other for 15 minutes, garbage cans, ringside chairs. Funk ended up potatoing Danny because Danny wasn't hitting him hard enough, and Danny, out of respect, was trying to be, careful with a 70-year-old man.
Right.
And Funk just starts laying it in and lighting up Danny, and he comes to the back and he goes, God damn it, Ricky. And I thought he was mad at me. I'm like, what's the matter, Terry? I owe you a goddamn apology. I got so fucking, I feel like I'm 22 again. And it was just amazing because he just went out and, like I said, tore the building up, and they were supposed to be involved in anything. So Funk was amazing. Jake the Snake Roberts started off being amazing. Would do anything for us. We booked him on about 15, 20 shows. Real funny thing, my first ever show I ran, the one I ran back in '93 in Lodi, New Jersey, for my friend. A run-in that night was done by Bubba Dudley. At the time, who was wrestling as just the Terminator. He actually was one of his first ever appearances in front of a crowd. Manny Fernandez was on that show. Hugh Morris used to wrestle for me all the time. Iron Man Tommy Cairo was on all of our old shows. Manny Fernandez did a gimmick with Kevin Knight for me where he just went in the ring one day and he forgot what he was supposed to do on his promo, so he made believe Kevin Knight was Rick Rude and started calling him Ricky and cut the whole promo like if he was having a brain freeze and thought he was back in WCW.
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express. Yeah, we had everybody. I mean, anybody that was anybody at the time, we had on shows.
Didn't you have an incident with Scott Hall?
Yeah, Scott and I had an incident, and what happened was we brought him in, and Scott had his demons, and something was off that day, and we had an argument in front of a large group of people, and that was it. And just recently we patched that up, and I wish nothing but the best. When Scott's on his game, nobody goes out of his way more to help a promotion out.
Yeah.
He'll do promo work for you. He'll cut promos. He'll do radio. He'll shake hands. He'll kiss ugly women, whatever it takes to help you.
Whatever it takes.
But he's he's got his demons, man. And you got to pray every time that you book him that he's on his game. And if he's not, it's not a good experience.
Yeah.
Same thing with Sid Vicious. Sid can come in and do everything for you. And Sid's the type of guy that'll help set up a fucking ring. And he's also the type of guy that will hold you up for more money before he goes out of a curtain.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he had the one incident in New Jersey where it may have been Pat Buck that they gave out his number.
They gave his phone number out.
Yeah, they gave his phone number out for no show.
Yep. What's funny is that's a great trick, but that wasn't even original. Ahmed Johnson no-showed Dennis Corluzzo in Yardville, New Jersey.
Wow.
On a sold-out crowd. And Dennis called his hotel room, and Ahmed answered and said he ain't coming because he wanted more money. And Dennis had the phone up to the microphone, and everybody heard it. So then Dennis gave out his cell phone number and put it all over the internet and everything for Ahmed's personal cell. So that was pretty funny.
That's crazy. Couple more questions, and we'll let you go. I mean, obviously, Joey Janela, you were talking about NWS. I was actually going to ask you about NWS. Obviously, there were some horror stories. Any craziness that came from that company? Because I actually saw that footage that you were talking about on YouTube through Joey Janela's Facebook page, and I mean, I had seen the guy.
I think the single most hated promoter in the history of professional wrestling on the East Coast is Joe Panzarino.
Yeah.
Joe got into New Jersey wrestling by fucking Dennis Corluzzo out of his company. Joe would do anything in his power to fuck anyone at any time. He's the type of guy that was at the end of the pew in church steal the money out of the fucking, the donation tray.
God.
He's just not a likable person. He's not a nice guy. He's called in fucking fire departments on bomb threats. He's called buildings. He's called insurance scams. And I'm not saying anything that isn't true. He once put on a message board that my two kids, who at the time were like a month and 3 years old, they'd be better off if I died, and they were raised by mongoloids, things like that. And he just took things to a very personal level constantly. And he was very disliked. Gino, on the other hand, was just one of those guys who ran with Joe, Joe ended up fucking Gino out of a lot of money, and Gino's battling, I think, every day now. I don't know if it's settled, and I haven't talked to him in about a year, but last time I talked to him, there was a lawsuit, and they were battling back taxes, and Gino was facing jail time, and Joe pinned everything on Gino. So it was just one of those guys. Another guy I don't really like is Rob Fury. I fucking personally caught him walking around and tearing down JCW posters, GCW posters, after he would come to me and ask me to help him with talent or ask me to do things and help him out with buildings and stuff like that. And then he would go around and fuck me over and do stuff like that, which, I just didn't believe in it.
Yeah. That's crazy. And we mentioned Trent Acid before, so I want to bring this up. Obviously, the Acid Cup that happened in Philadelphia at the ECW Arena. I was there. I was skeptical going into the show because I was like, all right, I don't think they're going to be able to sell out the arena because I usually go to all the arena shows, and the only company that really has any success now in that building is probably House of Hardcore, and that's because they bring in a fucking like Matt Hardy and shit. So people are gonna show up. CZW's recently done it. You know, probably like 300 people, if that. Not too many. Not like they used to do back in 2002. So going into the show, I was expecting a couple hundred people, but I was like, all right, I don't think they're going to be able to pay the 26 wrestlers that are booked on this show with a couple of hundred fans that are going. Now going into the show, being there, I'd probably say maybe tops there was about 200 people. What do you think went wrong with that show? Because I was at the show and the show was fucking amazing. The show, I have zero complaints. Amazing show.
Seriously sabotaged.
Yeah.
Nick Burke, I have no problem saying it. Nick Burke made it his personal vendetta against the company. Nick Burke is Rob Feinstein's flunky and will wipe Rob's ass and clean fucking gum off of chairs at House of Hardcore because he holds on to the fact that nobody will book him and he's just a piece of shit human being.
Yeah.
And he didn't like the fact we, as a company, and he won't say this in public, but I got messages and stuff like that telling me that we didn't belong in Philadelphia and he wasn't going to let us run House of Hardcore's building. Now, first of all, Tommy Dreamer, again, you heard me 10 minutes ago say the nicest guy in the entire world.
Right.
Rob Feinstein is one of the owners of House of Hardcore. I mean, everyone knows it, but it's just not announced.
Right.
But that's fine. Who cares? I don't give a shit. But
Everybody
they
knows.
took it as we were coming into their building. So our posters were ripped down. They went to Trent's family after we had permission from the family to run the show, to get them to not let us call it the Acid Cup. As far as lawyers 2 weeks before having us remove posters and change them because it said Acid Cup on them. So the show was sabotaged. I mean, it was a phenomenal lineup as far as indie wrestling goes. I don't think you can ask for a better lineup. Those guys did an amazing job, but it was also, I lost more money on that show than 23 years combined.
Yeah, I can imagine because when Zandig came out to cut the promo, he kind of thanked you and said I didn't put a dime up for this show, so you guys can thank Ricky O for it. And I don't know, man. Just game changer. I feel like the first show, as far as going ultra violent, the first show it was a nice crowd. I would probably, I mean, I'm not in the wrestling business, but I'd assume that was a success. The TOS, NGI, same thing. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes.
And then from there, you kind of started to slowly see a decline, and then it started to pick back up a little bit. But what do you think the reason was? Because I know you guys were running against SummerSlam, so I'm sure that had a huge thing to do with the first time.
SummerSlam hurt us. The last show that they ran, again, I wasn't there, but Danny and Brett have been running the company, and they're doing their thing, and they wanted to use that niche, and that's fine. But they ran against the night where you had the Hardys against, I believe it was the Dudleys in New York City.
Yeah.
And you can't, it was just, I think those poor guys just had bad luck. I mean, like you said with the Nick Gage show, place was packed. Zandig show, place was packed. The arena show wasn't packed. It was just a fiscal nightmare. But I think there would have been another 150 to 200 people in there. I'm not even going to dream and say we're going to sell the place out. But I think for sure that it was sabotaged, and a lot of things behind the scenes really hurt those guys and their drawing there. But, it's wrestling. There might be a Saturday where, who knows, college football, baseball, World Series, playoffs, anything could affect it. And what I've learned over the years, you got to check around and see when local teams are playing. There's a high school team playing that day, Pee Wee games that day,
right.
Because little things like that could affect your crowd.
Yeah, definitely. And they were running 3 p.m. on a Sunday, which I think the next show coming up this Saturday, which we'll plug in a minute. I think that's probably going to do a lot better because it's on a Saturday night. More people are going to be able to go out, and those times it was going against football. I think that the first game of the season was during Game Changers show, so hopefully it picks back up, man. Because I honestly I really like the promotion. I like what they're doing. I think the cards are fucking stacked, and kind of like the guys that they're bringing in, like giving us Shane Strickland against Teddy Hart, which was originally supposed to be Chris Dickinson, which is a whole other story, but even Sexy Eddie and Joey Janela, guys like that, matches that you wouldn't necessarily expect. And I think
you asked me a little while ago, guys. I forgot the Steiner brothers. I forgot Joey Janela against the Shane Douglas.
Yeah, that happened recently.
Those are also matches that these guys put on. Those were Danny and Brett's ideas. They've come up with these unique. When it's not ultra violence, they come up with a really, really, really cool new against old type match, and they're gonna be successful. Trust me.
Yeah.
They put a heart and soul into it, and like I said, I wish I had the time to still do it. I just don't. It's not like I don't love wrestling anymore. It's just moved on from me.
Yeah. No, it's at least good that you acknowledge it and you know when the time is right. That helps a lot. But yeah, man, I love the venue. I love the venue that they use. So I certainly like going to the shows and everything, and being on Saturday night. I think that's going to help a lot. But that venue is honestly hands down one of my favorite wrestling venues. And I think it was smart.
Have you ever gone on the road with us? Have you come to a festival? Have you gone to Rock Carnivals or anything like that?
No, I've only gone to the ones at the Game Changer World.
Okay, it was pretty cool skate and surf a couple years ago with Jake and X-Pac and Santana Garrett. And there's nothing like having 10, 15,000 rowdy, drunk, Dropkick Murphy fans. That was the main event on the stage that night. But you have guys like Slash, and you had all these different amazing bands playing. And what's really cool is that they're wrestling fans, so they're sneaking to come and watch us. And you got, at any given time, there might be 50 people around the tent, and then you look up and there's 5,000 people around the tent. Nice. And that's pretty cool. That was a great experience. And having that show on the beach in Asbury Park, and there's a really, really unique photo. I'll post it. I'll find it this weekend, and I'll put it up. Joey Janela is wrestling Nick Gage, and Janela climbs to the top of our ring truck, and he jumps off the 20-foot ring truck onto Gage, and in the background is the famous Asbury Park Convention Center. Yeah. And it looks all run down because half the lights are out, and it's like Asbury Center. Like half the letters are not lit, and it's just a really cool. I captured the shot with Janela coming off the top of the truck onto Gage, and that match actually delayed the Dropkick Murphys concert for about 15 minutes because they brawled through the street. And what was pretty cool, if you get a chance to watch it, there was a portable police station set up, which was a trailer, and they brawled through the police station, through the trailer, and back onto the field and back into the ring.
Nice, man. Real quick, man, you obviously mentioned Nick Gage, and we mentioned the tournament. You'd never probably worked with Nick Gage before the tournament, I'm assuming. I don't recall JCW doing any Nick Gage matches, but how was it working with him? Because, obviously controversial Nick Gage. Hope to see him back in Game Changer, which I'm sure will happen sooner than later.
Well, Nick came back, before the tournament. Nick did some matches for us in
the tag team tournament with the Headhunters, and yeah.
Right. He did some stuff with us before that, and I got to say, the guy was easy as pie to work with. Real appreciative, very humble. When I found out Nick was going back to jail, I have to honestly say I was very upset and disappointed because, you never want to see a guy ruin his life, and he's super talented. Yeah. And I got to know him as a person, and he was super cool, man. He's got a fan of me. He's a great guy.
Plus, honestly, he's probably in the best shape of his life. I mean, the guy looks like better than he's ever done before, So
yeah, absolutely. Well, there's not really much to do in jail except try to stay alive and get in shape.
That's true. Well, I'm glad he's out. Boxman, you got a last question?
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, one last question. Anybody we should be looking out for that in the future might be the next up-and-comer?
Okay, well, I was going to take a minute on this one because one of the things I always prided myself on was I always thought I had an eye for talent. And I always used to say to certain people who was going to be a star. I saw it in Danny Inferno, who had the world by the balls when we were real young. Some mishaps on his part and some bad breaks cost him his career, but he had, 500 WWE TV matches. Reckless Youth was that guy. I always say that super AJ Styles and CM Punk before they were ever anybody. I knew they were going to be mega stars.
Yeah.
I think a guy that Bull James, another guy whose home was JCW, and guys like my son. We were the guy who took him on the road and started him off up in Maine. As the baby. I don't know if you ever saw that stuff when we had NWA Liberty States and we were running New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, all the way up to Maine, all the way out to Las Vegas with myself and Dave Marquez and Mario Savoldi. But Bull James used to wrestle for us in a diaper and used to come out as Baby Huey, the character from Bugs Bunny that smoked a cigar and wore a baby's bonnet. And and he turned that into a run in the WWE with the NXT, and whatever happened there happened. I have my opinion. I think they dropped the ball, but that's me.
Yeah.
But I think the next super, super talented guy that's going to end up in NXT is Kyle the Beast.
Okay.
And he's actually going to be You're wrestling Matt Tremont this Saturday.
Yes, Kyle's an animal. He's in phenomenal shape. He's definitely a great wrestler, great person. Private party, definitely has a future.
Yeah.
I always thought that somebody should have did more with the Hit Squad than was ever done with them.
Definitely.
But now they're trying to imitate the Hit Squad down in NXT. I don't even know the name of those two jerks, but
Yeah,
they got Paul Ellering with them.
Same exact gimmick.
Same exact fucking. Listen, I'm gonna take a second to say thank you to you for having me on the show, but I want to thank a couple people in my career: Reckless Youth, Tom Carter, Don Montoya, above and beyond, always for JCW. The Samoan family, from Alpha Jr. To Samu to Lloyd to every single one of them, Pops, everyone who's always gone out of their way for me. Moondog Molson, another person from WXW. But by far, my greatest feeling about anyone in wrestling has to be the Hit Squad. I don't think that there was ever a tag team that should have gone somewhere and didn't really get a break like they were. They were that talented. We would have the Lodi Boys and Girls Club consistently. We ran it every 30 days, and every 30 days I had 300 to 500 people in that building, and there was always one pop that you knew was different than everybody else. And that's when the pump, the first beat of that song hit.
Yeah.
A Hit Squad came through the curtain. There was nobody better than Danny and Steve. And the only other person that I think made wrestling believable and to this day is still welcome in JCW, still works for GCW, is Homicide. Those three guys, and Low Key and I don't get along. I'm not going to pull any shit. He don't like me. I don't like him. But he's super talented. There was that whole little clique of Low Key, Homicide, and the Hit Squad, and there was nobody better on the East Coast. And to this day, some 15, 18 years later, Homicide, the Hit Squad, are still, I don't know if Low Key is really appearing much anywhere, so that's why I'm not mentioning his name. But those three guys are still legit super badasses, can still have a crowd in the palm of their hand, and they're that fucking good.
No, definitely, man. I've been obviously they've been doing CCW, Game Changer, and more recently Jersey All Pro, and dude, they're still killing it, man. I mean, they've been doing it for 20+ years, and they're fucking killing it. You know, every single match, they're still like basically in their prime. I mean, especially Homicide after the surgery, man. He's back at it. You know, one last run.
Homicide is one of those guys back in the day that was so walking an edge on his gimmick in the early 2000s that you didn't know if it was real, you didn't know if it was a shoot or if he was working. Yeah. I mean, I've seen other wrestlers in the locker room. There's a funny story about Andrew Anderson. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a massive guy. Yeah. 6'3", 6'4", steroided out of his mind. Big, massive guy.
He was real quick. He actually forced himself into a picture with Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake. I was taking a picture with those guys, and that dude just.
Oh yeah. He tells everybody that he's Greg's son, and that
I don't know.
He also tells everybody he's the mass superstar when he does these conventions. He tells people he's the mass superstar. Yeah, real proud of himself. But he used to be, behind the scenes, one of the guys in early JCW. He helped me a lot, and he was definitely afraid of Homicide. He didn't even like having Homicide booked on shows. He's like, that guy's fucking crazy. You never know when he's going to snap. He's a legit gang member. He'll shoot the whole locker room if he's not happy with his match. And I would just sit there and be like, are you fucking serious, man? Like, relax. Yeah. And then I would look at Homicide when he'd walk in, and I'd always be like, oh, you got your gun with you tonight? And Homicide would wink at me and be like, yeah, I brought 3 tonight. I'm going to shoot that motherfucker. And Drew would pick up his bag, and you'd watch him leave the room. And it'd be like, it would be so funny because he would just laugh. And, to this day, it's still an ongoing joke as to how afraid Andrew Anderson was of Homicide.
Yeah, I love getting Homicide on the show, and he's been on a JCat's show before, and every time he tries to say EYFBO, he gets it wrong, and it's the greatest thing ever.
I don't mention them because I don't even know how to say their fucking name. I always say BYOB. It makes me think of Bring Your Own Beer.
Yeah.
Another super group of talented guys. Yeah, definitely. Dickinson is Dickinson. He is what he is. He's a hard guy to work with, but in the ring, he's fantastic.
Right.
Those guys. Listen, I got to say it again. It's Danny and Brett have done an amazing job of taking everybody else's talent and bringing them under one roof.
Definitely. And obviously, before we let you go, you want to talk about the future of Game Changer since you're handing it down. Let everybody know what's going on with it.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm gone. I don't know. I don't know where they're going to do with it. It's Danny and Brett's baby now, and I wish them nothing but the best of luck. And after this Saturday, I don't know. I don't know if I'm never going to run a wrestling show again. But I can tell you right now, as of last week, I have no connection to the company, other than the fact I own the ring they're going to rent from me, and I'm going to move on. I don't even know anything about the booking this weekend. Nothing. I got this career going down here in Nashville. I'm going to start my own podcast on the NHL and audition for the NHL Network again. I've done that a couple of years ago, and I kind of put it on the back burner, and that's where I'm going with my life. I'm going to step out of wrestling for a little while.
Nice.
Nice,
Good
man.
luck to you.
Well, stress-free.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys very much for having me on. Please throw me a link on my Facebook page so I can share this with all my friends and get
Absolutely.
you guys, some listens.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate very much having me on.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you for being on the show, man. Really appreciate it.
Oh, awesome. Anytime, guys. Thank you.
All right, man.
Merry
Have a good
Christmas.
one.
You too.
You too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Speaking of JCW, Game Changer Wrestling, this weekend, deck the halls with Ultra Violence. Game Changer World, definitely check it out. There's a bunch of things going on with that show. And with that said, Boxman, you want to take a quick break and let's play this clip that we got of what's going on with the show, and then when I come back, we'll start taking some calls, and Boxman and I will kick it, and we'll continue the podcast.
10 seconds less to get this loaded up. This is about an 8-minute video, so we'll be back right after this is over. Here you go. 8-minute, whatever. We'll be right back.
Bam.
Right, what he said.
What I said.
In the Danny
What I said.
character, and it's not a shoot. I'm not taking this opportunity to
Thank you for
sue
coming on
or
the show. I
lampoon
thoroughly
anyone
enjoyed that
through the
interview.
anonymity of the internet. It's sort of a plea, I guess, but I don't like the connotation behind that either, because that would imply that I'm asking you for something, and this is not a GoFundMe or something. This is all I'm asking is that you hear me out, give us the benefit of the doubt. Game Changer Wrestling, GCW, is a company that, to my understanding, has been around for some time, but I've really only become aware of it and had any interaction with them over the last couple years because they branched out, have been trying to establish themselves, position themselves as sort of like the East Coast deathmatch alternative to CZW, of course, the premier deathmatch company in all of America. Now, when I say alternative, I do not mean the competition, the enemy. You have to pick sides, you gotta choose your colors, and if you're caught in the wrong neighborhood, you're gonna get fucking shanked. I mean alternative, an opportunity to do something a little different, use some different guys. It's a chance for fans and practitioners of this style to see or participate in something that is unlikely to happen at CZW. Now, I work for both companies very proudly, and I have long flown the flag for CZW, so do not misconstrue this as me casting off that long-held proud conservator of the American deathmatch mantle that I've sort of worked to achieve. GCW is trying to do something different, and when I caught wind of this, I became very intrigued and very interested, and I've taken a personal role in trying to help whenever I can. Now, I'm not on the payroll, I'm not management, I'm not a booker, I'm none of these things. It's a passion project for me. I love death matches. And not only do I defend death matches, but I would like to improve death matches. And I think that this is an opportunity to work toward that end. So they've used kind of two selling points. One is giving opportunities to new faces, up-and-comers, guys who have potential but maybe haven't been seen very widely. And the other thing that they have done to pique the interest of deathmatch fans is that they've tried to put together either matches that haven't been done in a long time, like revisit favorites of the genre, or put together matches that you never thought you'd see. And they've been pretty successful at some really cool stuff so far. And one of those sorts of matches was to be myself versus my very good longtime friend. Longtime friend often also means that you love to beat the ever-loving hell out of each other in a brutal fashion. and that applies here very certainly. Scotty and I mean, I love the guy like a brother, and I also just adored kicking him in the face, especially when he didn't see it coming. Mafia kick! When I heard that he had come out of retirement and was interested in doing one more final match between us, some closure, some good therapeutic catharsis, it was going to be awesome, I assure you. And you've probably put together by now with my past tense verb usage, it's not going to happen. And I am crestfallen and heartbroken to have to tell you that. And I can tell you on behalf of Scotty that he feels the same, if not worse. He's just sick about it. I am not at liberty to go into the circumstances which are preventing it, even if you weren't a good friend of mine. I think it's really shitty to put people's personal business out there in a public forum. But suffice it to say, it looks as if that match probably will not ever happen now. Scotty and I had a great run, and we were hoping for one more, but I don't think that it's going to be feasible, and I am probably more disappointed to tell you this than you are to hear it, but it really meant a lot to me, and I was just heartbroken when I heard it. To make matters worse, both John Wayne Murdoch and Reed Bentley, for reasons that I'm given to understand are objectively less defensible, decided to withdraw from the event. I think Kool-Aid is just too addictive, you know? That's all I'm going to say on that. Like I said, so we are in a bind, and I say we, I'm not on the payroll, but I take a very active interest in this. I want this to take off. I want this project to work so much. You know, it's kind of a make or break juncture for GCW, you know. I'm not going to sit here and say, please come to our show, we need you, although we do, but I'm going to say this to you. We are doing what I think is the morally correct thing to do at this juncture. Carney promoters have this tendency, and it's an oft reference and complained about thing that alienates a lot of fans, is that this tendency to just keep the tickets are bought, and you know, we don't want to lose any potential income, so we're just not going to mention that so and so isn't coming or this match can't happen. We're not going to do that. That is absolutely detestable in my mind, and I have a lot of unsavory personal characteristics, but at my core, I'm a good old boy. I'm a, son of a farmer and a teacher, and I hate that. So we're going to be, as long as GCW exists, we're going to present things to you as straightforwardly as possible. We've lost 3 guys who, all of whom were good talents and were announced for draw death matches, and we can't do anything about that. So the plea is, I would ask you to give us the benefit of the doubt, to try to stand by us through these inevitable hurdles, and give us the chance to entertain you with another option. Let us get to the point where we can get past some of these hurdles that every company faces on the way up. Like, take it from someone who's been around the scene for a long fucking time. There's a lot of potential there. We got a lot of good ideas, a lot of good connections, a lot of cool shit can happen, but none of those ideas are going to come to fruition if we lose our crowd. So here's what we're doing. I don't know what the matches are now, but what we're going to do is we're going to look at this as an opportunity, rather than to scramble and try and find something comparable, which there is not. We're going to look at this as an opportunity to shift the focus back to our other major selling point, which is that of giving opportunities to new up-and-comers, guys who want to be a part of the scene that maybe have something really cool to offer. You know, that's Matt Tremont was nobody. Nobody ever heard of him before that Carnage Cup, and now, a few years later, this nobody that I wrestled in the first round has surpassed me in accolades and fame and head scars, which he can have that one. There's dudes out there, they just need an opportunity, so that's what we're going to do. We are going to try and give them the opportunity to achieve their potential, and all I'm asking you in return, give us the credit due for being straight with you. Stick with us and give us the opportunity to achieve our potential. Give us the same kind of credit and benefit of the doubt that we're going to give these young guys, because I think it could really be something cool. Come help us out, man, because we could really take this somewhere. Man or woman. See, look at me. I'm being progressive, too. That's all.
All right, we are back. If you want to call in, we're going to start opening up the lines. Call in and we'll talk some motherfucking wrestling.
Turn down your computer.
Sorry.
Turn down your computer.
Turn down for what,
Oh,
man?
shit.
Son? Fuck out of here.
Son? Bitch? Bitch?
But if you want to call in, 469-206-4466. Or you can Skype in THT Podcast. And we'll talk some more wrestling if there's any topics that we missed. If you want to call in and we'll talk about that wrestling, some wrestling business. And speaking of wrestling business, we got Doug on the line. What's going on, dude?
Guys, how the hell are you?
I am fucking fantastic.
By the way, first I got to start off. Awesome interview.
Thank you. Thank you,
sir.
Yeah, that was easy. Ricky had some good stories, and that makes it a lot easier to hear those.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah. So, definitely. Thanks again to Ricky. And anyway, what's up, Doug?
Okay, I got to talk about this. I've been waiting to actually talk to you guys about this since I heard about it. The whole stupid Kevin Owens thing.
Yeah.
You know, with the mom. And I've basically, like I said, I've been waiting to talk to you guys about it all week. And, you know, I mentioned earlier on in the chat room that I have quite a bit to say about it. I've been to shows before where the heels have acted, you know, like they're supposed to. They're supposed to be bad guys. They're not supposed to come up and say, "Hey, how you doing?" and, you know, shake their hands and all that. They're not baby faces. They're supposed to be dickheads. And I've been to shows before. I went to a Ring of Honor show about 6 years ago with one of my best friends and my brother. And it was actually Cesaro that did this. Well, obviously he was wrestling under a different name at the time. But he goes over and he just starts kind of, you know, he got into the face of like 3 little kids. And, you know, the little kids just looked and the parents were just sitting right there. They didn't do anything because, you know, the guy's doing his job. All of a sudden, the little kid, you know, turns over to his dad and Cesaro, you know, was being a heel. Like he was poking fun at the kids or whatever. One of the little kids goes over to his dad and says, "Claudio," or, you know, he was under a different name at the time. He goes, "Claudio Cash, you know, just talk to us." And it's like, okay, so,
well, that's,
you know, and that's one thing. And, you know, so, like, I guess it depends on, you know, who it is or what kind of person is there. But to me, all it is just some stupid bitch looking to get, you know, like free tickets or something.
Yeah, and you know what? You want to know what it goes back to for me? It just all goes back to what are we raising our kids to deal with in life? Is this how we deal with things? We go online and complain? Is that how you want to teach your kid to deal with problems? Seriously?
Boxman, you're
yes, I am.
Right? Okay, you got what, 2 kids? Okay, so let's say you take your kids to a show. And, you know, let's say like Kevin Owens or Miz or somebody comes up and he's acting like a heel. He's doing his job, you know, to the kids or whatever. Do you do you play along? Because you know the guy's playing a character.
Of course you do.
Right? Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, and that's what I'm trying to get to, is like people that know the business that kind of, you know, not really know, but, you know, like fans, like you and I and Shahin have been fans of the business, saying, you know, Anthony, we've been fans of the business, you know, for years. Okay. So we know how these guys work. We know what these guys have to do to get heat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, especially now. Now, because heels are actually cool. Now, I mean, Kevin Owens still gets a pop when he comes out. Brock Lesnar is supposed to be a heel, gets the biggest pop in the company, pretty much. So, you know, it's Tough to be a heel nowadays, I'll tell you.
Yeah, and when Kevin Owens, he's doing his job. Personally, I would never, cheer for Kevin Owens, at like a live event. I would boo him because that is basically our jobs as wrestling fans, and I think I actually said this on the show before. Okay, our jobs as wrestling fans are to boo the heels and cheer the baby faces.
Okay.
And watch the show.
Okay, but then tell WWE to stop wanting to blur the lines between baby faces and heels and just make them all superstars. Because that's not helping anybody.
Right, and I'm not saying it. So first of all, the way WWE portrays some of these guys, and some of these guys that they have on the TV that they have as baby faces should be heels.
Oh yeah.
Some of these guys that are heels should be baby faces. Roman Reigns, and I'll tell you, I have stuck up for Roman Reigns to the point to where I'm surprised most of you guys don't hate me. I have stuck up for Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns, I like Roman Reigns personally. I don't like him as a babyface. I think he would do better as a heel because, he's supposed to be that badass guy. Have him put a baby face through a table. Have him beat the hell out of a baby face, with like a chain or something like that or whatever. Have him be that heel badass he was in the Shield.
Yeah, well, here's the problem. They'll have him do a heel move like that, and then next week he'll come out and cut a babyface promo. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? Dude, how many times has their top babyface come out there and beat up another babyface? John Cena. He's done it 1,000 times. And you're like, what? How does that make... Doesn't that make him a... What? How? All right, I'll go with it. Just because it's habit at this point to just go with whatever they give me. So...
Yeah, I mean, you have to follow along. And that's why, like I said the other day, that I have basically just stuck. I mean, I still watch, if I'm home, I watch Raw, I watch SmackDown, I watch 205 Live on Thursday nights. Like I said, as long as I'm home, I like 205 Live. I think it's a good show. I don't really watch TNA or Ring of Honor anymore. I blame my brother for that because he won't let me put it on the TV because he doesn't like either one. But I still watch the shows, but I like watching the older stuff better.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's like this, and I'm gonna kind of throw a comparison here, and you'll probably, and I'm sure you'll be able to follow me on this a little bit, because you've seen it on my Facebook page. I have been posting a lot about like older cartoons lately. Okay. I happen to like the older cartoons back when I was a little kid. Was much cuter back then, and I had more hair. Back then, the cartoons you see on TV now, they're not really made for little kids. The most popular cartoons on TV now are those stupid adult cartoons.
Yeah, and the cartoons now don't even really make sense. It's crazy. It's nonsensical bullshit. Trust me. My kids watch Teen Titans Go, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? They're talking about booty scratching, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Sorry, I had to step away for a second, but let me ask you this now. Now, do you think we're going to reflect back on these times in 10 years and say, oh, man, wrestling was so much better then? Because this seems to be like it's a pattern that you see. Well, you don't appreciate it at the time, but as the time goes, it gets much, much better in time,
You might. It would depend. It would depend on the time. I'm sure, like, people that are, younger now, like, when we were, when we were like 15 or 16 years old, like the people that are 15, 16 years old now, they're probably going to, or even like 10 or 12, they're going to look back when they're our age. They're going to look back and be like, oh, man, the business is not like what it was, when I was like 10 or 12 years old. They're going to have something to complain about. Okay? First of all, everybody has something to complain about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be, like, known as the Cena era. Like, the last 12 years in wrestling are basically going to be like the Cena era. Those poor children are not going to know real wrestling. I feel bad. I feel bad. I do. I feel bad.
Yeah, and that goes back to my point. It's like, it's not like when we were younger, because when we were younger, there was more than just one guy. I mean, there was like a guy like at the way top of the mountain, but the next guy down wasn't that far down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like, all right, let's say like the Attitude Era. Okay, Steve Austin was technically at the top of that Attitude Era. All right, for the longest time. Not that far below him was The Rock. Okay, not that far below him was The Undertaker. All right, and then you had, Shawn Michaels for a little while, Shawn Michaels then got hurt. But then you had Triple H, you had Mankind, you had all these other guys that still mattered. Now, you've got John Cena, you've got a guy that Vince is trying to push to the top in Roman Reigns, but nobody wants to give the guy a shot. And it's not a shot on Roman Reigns. It's a shot, I think, on creative.
Yeah, but, that's why you're, really happy for guys like Kevin Owens, AJ Styles. They finally have some guys now that can make John Cena, I'm not going to say forgettable, but not the major focus that, oh my God, Cena's not here, let's get him back as soon as possible. How many times have they made that panic call, brought him back when he's barely healthy or whatever? And it's I'm glad they do have guys now that they're trying to push to where they don't need Cena like they used to really need Cena there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. It seems like it really doesn't matter anymore.
It really doesn't. If he's there, he's there. If he's not, no one gives a fuck anymore. I don't read articles of them refunding money because John Cena's not at the show anymore. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a good sign.
That's a great sign. I don't know if it means that his fans are getting older and smarter, or WWE is getting smarter. I'm going to go with the...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the first one. His fans are growing up and going, that dude was a douchebag.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, too, is that, like, us when we were younger, there are certain... All right, let me ask you guys this. Was there anybody that you guys, cheered on that you thought was, like, the greatest, like one of the greatest, wrestlers on TV when you guys were younger? But if you go back and watch now, you're like, what the hell? How stupid was I when I was little?
Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard
Junkyard Dog. Didn't realize how horrible, limited, and just downright atrocious in the ring he was. But he didn't do much. He pretty much spent the whole match dancing around and headbutting people on his knees. I
don't have too many regrets, but I mean, some guilty pleasures that are still guilty pleasures of mine is probably Papa Shango, Abdul the Butcher, Adam Bomb. Believe it or not, Giant Gonzalez. I liked him as a kid.
Well,
yeah, dude.
Well, don't forget, we were young back then.
Yeah,
dude.
And
I wasn't.
That
I was a
creeped
kid.
me the fuck out.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was like 6, dude.
That whole...
Of course. That was nice
yeah,
at
but
the time.
Dude, that suit was weird.
Yeah, I was like 5 or 6.
Oh, to you, it was like, look at the muscle.
Well, not necessarily.
All right. So for me, it was going back to WCW '91. For me, it was Heavy Metal Van Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
he was my favorite wrestler back then. I remember I think it was like the Starcade when they did the Battle Bowl, like the first year they did it. And I remember being so happy that he was going to be part of it. And I saw he went against Rick Rude and Steve Austin, and him and whoever his partner was lost. And I remember, I'm not afraid to admit it because, I was 5 years old back then. Young and stupid. I cried when he lost, okay, because he was my favorite wrestler. Okay.
Big Van Hammer guy here, man.
I don't know anyone who can actually take the claim to be a Van Hammer guy. You are
crazy.
one.
You should print up the shirts, man.
You
You'll
are
sell
one and only, Doug.
Yeah, I know. But, here's the thing, though, right? I go back and I watch. First of all, I thought his music was just kind of catchy, okay? And so for me back then, it was always about the music. If it was like something I can kind of like bang my head to or something like that, it was like, well, or just kind of sing in my head. But I go back and I watch some of his stuff now. Like, if I see it on YouTube or whatever, I look at myself, and I was talking about this with one of my buddies, actually a couple of years ago, because he was also a Van Hammer fan, and we just looked at each other and said, we were stupid back then. We really were. I mean, we were only 5, but we were just dumb. Like, we look at it now, and we're like, this guy was awful. Because he was. We know that now. We didn't know it back then.
It happens.
You know who's a WCW guy that I actually like that I can add to the guilty pleasure list is Max Payne.
Okay, I remember.
I like him as a tag team with Cactus.
I remember.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I wasn't allowed to really watch it back then, like when it first happened, but, going back and watching the stuff on the network, like, I've seen his stuff. Now, back then, like I said, I really wasn't able to watch it because my dad, forbidden me for watching it because I got, in trouble at school for defending myself. God forbid.
Damn, Doug is whooping ass, man. Holy shit.
Oh, it's like a freaking kid, came up from behind and punched me, so I hit him back, and the teacher happened to catch me.
Right.
And nobody else in the class, vouched for me. They all said that I attacked the other kid. Anyway, long story short, my dad ended up getting a phone call. He tells me, like, you're not allowed to watch wrestling anymore. And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. And I still would I would still watch it when I was at my grandfather's house.
Yeah.
It was basically just my grandfather still watched it. He didn't like my dad, so he let me watch it.
Good way to get him back.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anything else you want to talk about, man?
One more thing. I got to talk about the New Day and them breaking this record. And Box, you and I talked about it a couple weeks ago. That we knew it was going to happen. I think the only issue I have with them breaking the record is, I was a Demolition fan. We really don't need to get into that because Box, you and I argue about that way too many times. But the fact that they broke it, it's great. Good for them. It gives them something else to, it gives them an accomplishment. But, this is a record now that, they broke it. So let it go for like another 20 years. Don't have another team try to break it. I think that they kind of went a little overboard by having the 2 triple threat matches Monday night. But, the focus Monday night was the record.
Well, I think they were trying to give. I think the worry was what they were trying to do. I'm not going to lie. That second match, I was thinking, oh, they're fucked. They are so fucked. But I don't know. I have no problem with them breaking the record. I thought it was good that they did it. You know what? WWE is trying this whole new initiative to kind of make the new legacy of WWE with new guys. So they need to start doing some stuff like this.
Right. And here's the thing. New Day, New Day's marketable because what do they got right now? They got a cereal. All right. They got their own cereal, which is now, they have a Christmas flavor or Christmas kind of Bootios or whatever. All right. how high are they up on the merchandise list as far as like how much they've made?
They've got to be big.
Do you
They
guys
have
know?
to be up there, dude. They're selling more than. Go on WWE Shop. They have socks, unicorn horn. They have a ton of merch. They're not going to invest money in merch for you if you're not selling the shit out of it. Put it that way.
Well, don't forget that WrestleMania, they had the highest selling merchandise. WrestleMania
they
weekend.
did. They did.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and see, the thing is that I personally, I didn't like him at first because I thought he was annoying, but I like Xavier Woods because to me, Xavier Woods is like one of those video game nerds. And again, I'm not saying I am one, like, you know, my brother happens to like playing video games, but Xavier Woods is like one of those video game nerds, and I think it even goes back to like he likes I thought I read something about how he used to like to play the old Nintendo or whatever too, which is my favorite game system. So to me, I kind of find Xavier Woods relatable, you know, in that kind of sense to where, like, you know, video games. All right, I think he relates a lot to, you know, the teenagers of today.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, I think Big E has improved significantly since, you know, he first came in. So as far as them breaking the record, like I said a couple weeks ago, I have no problem with them doing it in the sense that, you know, they had to erase Demolition's name from the record books. That's understandable. Again, as a Demolition fan, I wasn't happy to see the record broken, but, you know, it's something else for New Day to go down in history for. So, you know, good for them.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the WWE is trying to make a new legacy with, you know, the brand split and everything. So this is a good way to do it. And, you know, is this the right tag team to do it with? Maybe not, but it's what we got. So
now, what do you guys think if they actually put Demolition in the Hall of Fame? Because if they were actually really against Demolition, they probably wouldn't even mention them. You know what I mean? Like, it would make sense if they put them in the Hall of Fame at the same time break the record. Because what's the point of the record if they're retired? Why not pass that torch down?
Right. Well, here's the thing about Demolition being in the Hall of Fame. I think they should have gone in like a couple of years ago. And the fact is that I really think that they will go in one day. I don't think that they're going to wait until they die. I think they are going to go in one day because I think they're going to realize that, you know, this lawsuit is dumb. You know, they're probably going to settle out of court, which I'm sure a lot of those guys are probably going to do. And I really think that Demolition, it's not going to be next year, obviously. I don't think so. Might not be the year after. But sometime within the next 5 years, I think they'll put Demolition in the Hall of Fame. Because I think they'll want to do it before Bill Eadie passes away. Because if you look at him, and I've seen pictures of him, I kind of was just talking about it a couple of weeks ago, pictures of them recently in the ring.
Oof.
You know, they're tiny.
Oof,
yeah.
that was put the clothes on. Put some clothes on, man.
All right. So, yes, I think they'll go in. I think that it's going to take, I don't think it's going to take major ass kissing. But I do think that, you know, they're going to have to settle something with the lawsuit, which I think they will. You know, because, first of all, I think this lawyer that filed the whole damn lawsuit is an idiot. Because he's tried it like a couple times before and it didn't work.
I actually forgot they were part of the lawsuit, so I take that back. I don't think they're going to be in the Hall of Fame then. Anytime soon, anyway.
You know, maybe within the next 5 years. But, you know, within like the next year or two, they're going to get passed over. The one guy that I think should be in the Hall of Fame next year, and I really think it's going to happen, is going to be Vader.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah, because of this whole congestive heart failure. And I am a Vader fan. I was a huge fan of his work back in WCW, and I'm not afraid to admit that.
Well, everyone was. That's not a guilty pleasure, I don't think. I mean, I think Vader was one of the best big men I mean, Bam Bam Bigelow is up there for me, but other than that, dude, I mean, Vader is gold.
The only problem I had with Vader's WCW run was, if you notice in '93 when he was headlining a lot of the pay-per-views, I think there was like 2 or 3 pay-per-views where he was in the headline match, but his matches were non-title, and he was a champion. He was a champion for most of the year.
Yeah, I would never notice that, dude. I was like 6.
I read it. That's the only reason why I noticed
Yeah.
it. Hey, I do my research before I come on your guys' show.
There you go, man. God damn it.
Thank
We're
God somebody does.
Yeah, good.
I got to keep up with you somehow, Box.
We like to freestyle things, man.
Yeah,
It's good.
just go with the flow.
There you go. Got to know how to improv. That's actually the best interviews we have are the ones that we don't write a single question down for. Just fucking talk.
Yeah, it's basically just shooting the shit. That's like the best way to do it.
Yeah. Well, Doug, good to hear from you again, my friend. Call in anytime. We're going to take some other calls and wrap this shit up.
Yeah.
But
John.
yeah, man. Call in next week. We'll talk some roadblock, blackout, whatever the fuck it's called. We'll talk.
Oh, I can't wait. All
Later,
I'll talk to you
man.
guys next
Oh, I
week.
can wait. All right. See you later, man.
All
All right. If you want to call in, 469-206-4466. And by the way, if you're listening through TuneIn Radio, you can join the Mixlr chat room, mixlr.com/THT podcast. Join the chat room, join the conversation. And if you want to call in, you can call in through Skype also, THT podcast. Boxman. Let me see. Lucha Underground. Have you watched any of it at all?
I'm about 4 weeks behind right now.
Have you seen AR Fox
I
at all
have
there?
not yet. That does not mean that he hasn't been there. But, yeah, I'm about 4 weeks behind right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, once again, I mean, we'll catch up to Lucha Underground.
yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
What was that? Yeah. Real quick, this Saturday, Howell, New Jersey, Game Changer World. That's the location. Game Changer World in Howell, New Jersey. Definitely check out Game Changer Wrestling. Deck the halls with Ultra Violence. The card is definitely going to be switched around because clearly Reed Bentley, John Wayne Murdoch, they will not be showing up to the show. And also, Scotty Vortex is not going to be wrestling Danny Havoc. I'm sure they're going to find replacements that are decent to great. Hopefully. I don't fucking know. Hopefully. But from my understanding, it's a younger guy. So I'm really just hoping it's not fucking like students or some shit like that. That would kind of ruin it for me. I know that I forget his name. God damn it.
Man.
I forget. Brian Woods. He's going to be the replacement for John Wayne Murdoch. So it's going to be Nate Hatred versus Brian Woods, which that'll be a good fucking match. That might be a heavy hitter, man. That's going to be decent. I expect a lot of light tubes. I mean, you already know. In a closed space, it should be fun. Don't bring any protective gear. Man up. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. It's just light tubes, dude. It's just light tubes.
Yeah.
It's just light tubes.
Bring a
Get
mask.
used to it.
No,
You know what I mean?
bring a
Just get
mask.
used to it.
It's okay.
No.
Bring a SARS mask. Just make sure you have on a doctor's outfit. Just wear one of those smocks with it. Yeah. No one. Yeah.
There you go. And speaking of other wrestling in the area, check out House of Hardcore this Friday. Which is weird. I did not know House of Hardcore was trying to kick out Game Changer out of Philadelphia.
Interesting.
So, not cool, bro. Not cool. Not cool. Don't do that shit. Get out of here. You're doing that shit, man. Matt Hardy's going to be there, Boxman. I know you're excited about that. I personally don't give a shit about it, but Matt Hardy's going to be there, and he's going to be facing Tommy Dreamer in a steel cage match.
Yeah, that'll be good.
What do you think?
That'll be good to see. Look, Matt Hardy's promos are great. He's not great in the ring anymore. He kind of waddles around. He kind of does fat guy moves, like a fat guy. But he's entertaining, and he's had a great year. So,
yeah. Now, Boxman, let me read you this card because I think you're pretty familiar with most of these guys. Pretty fucking impressive. Main event: Tommy Dreamer, Matt Hardy, as I said, steel cage match. That's Matt Hardy's a big deal right now, so that's pretty cool for some people. I don't personally really care about it, but whatever. It's going to be at the ECW Arena, 2300 South Swanson Street in South Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you want to go check that out, I will be there this week, this Friday. I will be there. On the card, it's going to be Brian Cage, former guest on the show, against Sami Callihan. That's going to be a nice one. And we got Anthony on the line as well. I'm not sure. Are you going to the House of Hardcore?
I'm going to try to make it. Try to make it out. So I can get off on time.
There you go. Anthony, how many wrestling shows have you missed over the last 3 years of like CZW, House of Hardcore, those companies?
I probably can count them on one hand.
God damn, dude. You're a fucking champion. You sure you don't have a replica, man?
No, I don't. I do want to get one, honestly, but it's just like for a showpiece. They're putting the case, man. For that, I don't have a problem with. I'm not going to be at shows with it, but, to have it in the case, I think it's a nice showpiece.
He's gonna have it with him on the low, man. He's gonna start fucking carrying around a book bag.
It'll be in his camera.
Nah.
Take it out.
Only time you'll see me with a belt of the show if I'm getting a sign from somebody. That's about it.
That's gonna be his excuse, man. You're gonna bring it to
It'll be in the
show,
trunk. It'll be in the trunk. It'll be in the trunk.
Intermission time, he runs out, grabs the belt,
Is
comes
this a
out.
good time to show that I'm the fucking champ? Yeah, this is a good fucking time.
But real quick, back to the card. Sami Callihan and Brian Cage, probably going to be the match of the night. That sounds fucking great. John Morrison versus Phoenix, Lucha Underground match. That'll be fucking dope. Tony Nese, WWE guy, versus Leo Rush. Leo Rush, arguably, probably the most talented guy on the Indies. Fucking killing it right now. Boxman, you got to check this guy out. He's in Ring of Honor now. CZW guy, fucking just killing it. Dan Barry from Team Tremendous and Two Mystery Partners versus Eddie Kingston, TJ Marconi, and Delicious, Vic Delicious, this fucking fat dude that comes out with these two bald black chicks with big titties. It's weird.
I ain't calling a grown man delicious. All right.
Yeah, Vic Delicious.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Terrible. Also, a Brooklyn Brawler will be there if you give a fuck. Alex Reynolds, Taya Valkyrie, whatever the fuck. Okay. And then plenty more. So definitely check it out. House of Hardcore 22. They've done 22 shows already.
Taya is the girl on Lucha Underground with John Morrison. Yeah.
Okay, well she'll be there.
She's got a good little body.
No, but they got a couple fucking heavy hitters, man. Brian Cage, Sami Callihan is insane. John Morrison versus Phoenix. Tony Nese, Leo Rush. Those are three really good matches, and then you got fucking Matt Hardy and Tommy Dreamer. That'll be what it is. So, pretty good shit, man. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more matches. Anthony, what do you think of the card?
Solid card. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah. This guy that I mentioned, Kikutaro?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I've heard the name before. I can't say I'm overly familiar with him.
It's the comedy dude in Japan that wears the fucking silly mask.
Oh, yeah.
The Cole Cabana guy.
Yeah.
It's like the Japanese Cole Cabana. That he's gonna be there. Why? I don't know. Who knows? Who gives a shit? Are you going to Game Changer?
That I know I won't be able to make it.
You won't be able to make it?
Nah.
Oh man, you won't get smashed by light tubes. How could you miss it?
Hey, money talks.
Come on, man, you don't want asbestos floating around in the air. What's wrong with you, man? What you want to
smell it in the air tonight?
I mean, you would rather
Sniff
work than get some mysterious type of cancer? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Hey, you know how it is. You get older, you know.
Yeah.
You want less venereal disease, a better bank account.
I guess, whatever. If you want to be all adult about it, whatever.
Yeah. Anthony, you were at Cage of Death. I saw you for a second. What did you think of the show, man? Because I thought We didn't agree on this. So go ahead and give your piece on Cage of Death.
I was a little hard on it, but I look back on some clips, and the show, like I said, it was a solid show overall. It was just, at least from my opinion, some of the matches were dead for me. Like that Homicide Greg Excellent match was kind of like blah.
Yeah.
I was actually dozing off during that match.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it was probably one of the worst Homicide matches I've ever seen, and it wasn't because of Homicide, it's because Greg Excellent was terrible. I've been saying it for months. Terrible. Sorry, terrible.
I was kind of disappointed that they took the title off of Gresham too soon. I thought they were actually going to give him a little run with the belt.
Well, let's go match by match. You had Dave Christ with Brittany Blake, which she was actually on Raw. Apparently, she made an appearance. I saw the picture. I guess Rory Gulak was also in there. Little Mondo. That's pretty cool. I'm guessing that's through Drew Gulak, obviously. You had Dave Christ and Jimmy Lloyd. He got added to the match. AR Fox, Tony Deppen, Zachary Wentz from Ohio's for Killers. Oh, well, Scarlet and Graves, whatever the fuck. Tim Dunson and Alexander James. Really good, fucking solid match. I mean, this was pretty decent, man. I thought Tony Deppen went in there and killed it. AR Fox definitely killed it. I could have just done with AR Fox and Tony Deppen. Now I would have preferred that match alone, but or with Dave Christ and there maybe a 3-way. That would be fucking amazing. Alexander James, dude. I've been saying it for probably 2 years. Fucking garbage, man. I don't. Next time I have DJ on, I have to. This is a question I always forget. Why is this guy still around? I do not understand. Not one single fucking person likes him, and they don't boo him in a matter of like, oh, he's a heel. No, they're not good wrestling fans like Doug and boo the heels. You know what I mean? Like when they're booing this guy, they don't fucking want him there. People walk out. Don't go to the concession stand during this fucking guy's match because you won't get your shit for a while because everyone's there because no one gives a fuck about Alexander James.
Well, loyalty and he works cheap.
Oh, dude.
I mean, if I had to guess, I don't know.
Works cheap. You have a fucking 7-way match. Subtract one. Why even pay this guy? It wouldn't have been fine with 6. Come on, it's already too many people. They could have cut 3 people. And Black Jeez isn't on the fucking card. Former heavyweight champion for like fucking 5 months ago. And Jimmy Lloyd. No offense to Jimmy, probably still listens to the show. I don't fucking know. He was on the page though, and shout out to his partner Steve Sanders. Good dude, known this guy way before CZW. But Jimmy Lloyd and Alexander James didn't necessarily have to be in a 7-way match. You could have even taken Tim Dunstall, dude. I would have been fine with a 4-way, 3-way, whatever. They didn't have to pay Alexander James.
I guess this is like one of those. It was one of those WrestleMania style matches where you feel the need to get everybody on the card. Hey, everybody works hard, so let's throw them a bone.
Where's Black Jeez? Didn't answer me that. Where's Black Jeez?
I can't explain it to you. It's a good question.
Him?
I'm sure he's probably asking himself that same question.
Well, where's Alex Colon? This guy killed himself at TOD. What happened to him?
Yeah.
See? Crickets. See? No one knows.
I can't answer. I'm not going to try to justify it. These are questions
David
that DJ
Starr. I asked JCat. JCat say he's in Europe. Maybe he is, maybe, I don't know. David Starr, where the fuck has he been for the last, 3 months? One of the top talent. But Alexander James is fucking here. Alexander James is fucking here, though.
Yeah.
It's okay, fans. Alexander James got you. This guy knows wrestling.
Well, I don't know.
Fucking guy, come on, dude.
Now, all right, devil's advocate. You think he's one of the guys that DJ uses over and over because he's probably one of the guys
He's the one that does the hot dog run, son.
He doesn't give him problems. He shows up, does the job, takes his money, and keeps it moving.
What money? Who's buying tickets for him?
I'm not saying. I'm just trying to justify why he might be used on a card.
I don't know. I don't know.
On a consistent basis. He didn't. Masada was gone for a while because he didn't want to buy a plane ticket. Basically,
man, I wish you would go on a hot dog run for me. I'm kind of hungry.
Well, start booking Alexander James.
Anyone want to go get me a couple of hot dogs at 7-Eleven?
Speaking of hot dogs, Larry Legend was one of the most over people on the show.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, that's one of his lines. Hot dogs. Juicy.
Yeah, dude. Apparently, I'm the only one that didn't know that. I told Jake Cat about it when I was telling him about, because he wasn't at the show and he couldn't watch it because fucking CZW wasn't live streaming it. So I don't think he still watched it yet. But so I was telling him that fucking Larry Legend came out and talked about putting people's lips around juicy hot dogs for fucking 45 minutes of the show. And he was like, "Oh yeah, dude, he does that all the time. That's his gimmick." And I'm like, "I've been going to shows forever. I don't recall that ever happening." But apparently that's a thing. And Anthony, you've heard it, obviously. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard him do it at every show, but he's done it enough to where I'm like, that's his gimmick.
Dude, maybe I just tuned it out. I don't know. I've never noticed it.
Yeah,
I've seen it. I've seen him, 1,000 times. I've just never seen it. Real quick, Maxwell Jacob Feinstein. Is this Feinstein's cousin?
Maybe. For some reason, I was looking for Feinstein. Like, is that?
I think it is. I really think it is, because I know Feinstein's cousin was trying to get into wrestling. That was like an article out there. I'm pretty sure this is the dude.
Wow.
And Maria Manic, they arrive in the combat zone, and they get fucking showered in toilet paper.
Yeah, but that chick is gorgeous. I don't give a fuck if nobody says she was gorgeous.
Why would you go in the wrestling business and still use the name Feinstein? Yeah, I know I have no clue about the promotion. I'm just throwing it out there. Just want to throw that out there. Yeah, that's it.
But dude, Boxman, when I tell you this, man, this dude got showered in toilet paper. I mean, this chick got hit in the head twice with toilet paper rolls, unrolled, like solid toilet paper, straight in the face.
Yeah, she got hit in the head and ass.
I saw him in the chat room. Russell, David from New Jersey was in the crowd. He hit the fucking dude in the head with the toilet paper. Dude comes out the ring, goes up to Dave. Dave picks up another toilet paper and smashes him in the face with it. Yo, Dave's got his own podcast, man. You can't miss it. It's the greatest thing on earth.
Talked about it last week. I need to start listening.
It's something else. It's something
listening.
else.
Dave was in the chat room a little while ago. I saw him.
If you love 12 minutes of silence, it's fantastic.
I'm down for 12 minutes.
Sometimes you need it.
I can't even get 3 minutes of silence in my house. I will take 12 minutes of silence any day.
Yeah. But yeah, this was something to see with the toilet paper. I mean, they do the toilet paper gimmick all the time, but I feel like this was more than the usual. I could be wrong, though, since apparently I don't notice anything. Larry Legend makes dick references all the time, and I don't notice it. But Greg Excellent versus Homicide. What the fuck, dude? I don't know. It started off on a bad end. Homicide, what a waste of Homicide. Why couldn't we just get Black G's in Homicide? That already happened, but who gives a fuck? Do it again.
It's one of those cases of where like the build up and the promos for the match were actually solid, but the match itself was just kind of
Well, they promised the old Homicide with the with the fork and shit, and this was not the old Homicide. This was like barely like an okay match. This was like very mediocre.
Before we go any further, I'll backtrack a minute. What did you think of that opening? That opening video was badass.
I couldn't really see it. I was on the side.
That was a badass. The music, the video highlights, that was probably the best video package CZW put together to date. That was my favorite one so far.
Yeah, I couldn't see it. I was right on the side of the entrance, so I couldn't see it.
Yeah. You can actually see it online. I'm gonna post it, chat up. I'm gonna post it up on the page, but that video is must see.
Yeah, post it in the chat room right now too. If anybody's interested in checking that out, you can check it out in the chat room, mixler.com/THT podcast. Next matchup was a Dub Boys, which is what the fuck, dude? Yeah, actually, reading this card actually makes me pissed off right now. It gets better though. I think, everything from here gets amazing, and then
that's what I mean. Like the first half of the show seemed like it was kind of like enemy, but it picked up from the second half.
Like
it wasn't even the first.
Right?
Yeah, it wasn't even the first half. It was just the first two matches that were just terrible. The Dub Boys versus Vermin, which is Yuma and Kevin Martison. I don't know what the fuck these dudes were. The Dub Boys are garbage. DJ, if you're listening, please stop. Alexander James and the Dub Boys, those are my only two complaints right now as far as talent. Please get rid of these fucking guys. They're terrible. Terrible, terrible. I would literally walk by these dudes on the street and not recognize them. And I've seen them every month. Gives a fuck.
Jeez.
That's how much they blend in with the crowd. Nobody knows.
What's their
shit, dude?
gimmick exactly?
There's no gimmick.
They just come out to like dubstep music and that's it?
No, they used to be security, the security gimmick, and then now they're just two dudes in purple.
Oh.
They do like they come out to like a remix version of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's weird. It's weird. It's very awkward, but it's funny. It's funny. I mean, I don't think they'll do much. I mean, they won't go past CCW. Put it like that.
No,
I gotta tell you, sometimes y'all put over indie wrestling as awesome, and then sometimes y'all make it sound so bad. I hate to tell you.
No, just the first two matches.
I said sometimes, not all the time. Most of the times it's like, fuck, that sounds awesome, but sometimes it's like, wow, this is why I just fucking stay home and drink beer.
It's a shame too, because it's a shame too, because these guys are from Philly, so I would like to support them, but they're just terrible.
You know, I mean, dude, you got your opinion, and you know, I mean, I'm sure that might be why you thought that Homicide match was so bad. You have never said one good thing about that Greg Excellence guy, ever.
Yeah, he's terrible.
So
I've never found him to be entertaining. I think it's just a terrible version of Colt Cabana.
Okay, so
he's not funny. I hated
real
the
quick,
gimmick.
let me ask you a question. Being as I'm half drunk and whatever.
Oh, dude, you sound
if you
drunk,
don't know
man.
either, you don't know either guy. You come in cold. The match is on. What do you think? I mean, would it still be a good match, or do you think your hatred for Greg Excellence just makes it immediately you're coming in with a bad taste in your mouth?
A little bit of both. I mean, if I didn't know either guy, I would just walk out saying, meh. It was a match. It was all right.
Just thought I'd... Like I said, I'm half drunk.
That's fine. Get full drunk.
I'm thinking about... I'm probably going to do the shot of spice rum before we... fuck it, I'll do it now.
Yeah, do it, man.
Do it.
I'm gonna keep the vibe.
Next up, this is where the show picks up and it becomes great. This is the fucking... This is what we slowly start to build up. You know? We got EYFBO fucking killing it out there on the indies, and they defeated the Hit Squad. Fucking great match. Not their best match together. I believe I would say that's in Beyond. Their first match ever. That was fucking great. They became the new CZW champions. Scarlett and Graves attacked them, and then Brittany Blake cashed in her little Money in the Bank type of thing, and they became the new CZW champions. So Scarlett and Graves, they are the CZW champions. These three teams, I love all three of them. So I'm definitely looking forward to maybe a triple threat, something down the line. Thoughts on this match?
That was a nice swerve. I wasn't expecting it. I was surprised to see the Hit Squad lose clean.
No,
but I actually did like the swerve with Scarlett and Graves. That was nice.
No, I wasn't surprised at all, man. I mean, at the Acid Cup, they were basically saying goodbye to the fans. I'm not saying they're retiring or anything, but it just seems like Monster Mac is slowly, getting ready for that time. I think Moff has still got some couple years left, probably. But yeah, it seems like they're going on like a goodbye tour, almost. You know, so I think that was their job, to come in, do some CZW. Put some new guys over, and EYFBO, they've got a relationship with those guys, so I'm sure they wanted to do the honors and put them over. Unfortunately, they lost a second later because EYFBO, I think they should be champions. I think.
God damn. Yeah, I mean, do you like that kind of do you like what they're doing? Like it's like with a slow burn, or you would have preferred them just keep the belts?
I'm fine with it either way, as long as they get it back eventually. Because I want to see the CZW use these guys consistently, which they have been for the most part. Them and the Hit Squad, man. I want to see both teams stick around. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Another great match. Fucking almost like. I mean, it's not an instant classic like a Jerry Lynn and fucking Rob Van Dam at Hardcore Heaven type of match, but they went back and forth, dude. Shane Strickland and Desmond Xavier. They fucking. I thought they tore the house down.
Oh, this was a good match, but I actually preferred their first match to Down with the Sickness.
That's
But this
Shane
was still a good
Strickland,
match.
man. That's Kill Shot, correct?
Right.
I like that guy, man. He's really good.
Dude, you would like Desmond Xavier more. I think Desmond
I
is a
haven't seen
lot
much
better.
of him, but I
Be
mean,
honest with
obviously, Kill Shot's on Lucha Underground, so I do see a lot of his work. But he has a very distinctive walk, though. Even when I've seen him as Shane Strickland walking to the ring, he still has that Kill Shot walk.
Yeah,
he's the king of the swerve.
And there you go, little Mary
Anthony.
Miss
Mary Hanukkah.
You people.
There you go. Which one do you think is better? Anthony, which one do you think is better, Shane or Desmond?
You put me on the spot. I've been a fan of Strickland for a few years, but I will say that I do think Desmond in the ring is smoother than he is.
Yeah, dude. I think Desmond and Leo Rush and Janela and Chris Dickinson and probably EYFBO, those guys are like, probably one of the main reasons I go to shows.
No. Honestly, the next two. Honestly, looking at CZW's current roster, I think the two next breakout stars to actually do something within the next couple of years are that Tony Deppen kid and Leo Rush. We'll get to Leo Rush when we get to his match, but man, just walking to the ring, guy's a star. Waiting to happen.
Yeah, Tony Deppen. I mean, definitely. Dude's got to go in the gym, man. I mean, he's great in the ring and he's very relatable, but I don't know, man. It just doesn't look like a wrestler, at all.
You can say that about a lot of guys coming up.
Yeah, and I'll say the same thing about Joey because Joey could use some muscle mass, and I think he'd be a fucking star. But at least Joey has that presence. He has a gimmick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He stands
Joey
out still.
Is kind of like I hate to compare him to Dean Ambrose, but that's kind of his. He doesn't need to be the built, jacked guy. We're talking about Joey Janela, right? Yeah,
but even Ambrose looks like if you look at him up, if you really look at him, he's jacked.
But he doesn't. He also doesn't, take his shirt off and have to show that he's a big jacked dude. Joey Janela kind of reminds me a little bit of that Dean Ambrose character, a little bit, obviously with a lot more edge. But it's kind of the same thing. He doesn't need the muscles and the jacked body, I don't think, to be a fucking star. I think he could walk right in today and stand out from a lot of guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Next up was probably my favorite match of the night. I would say Sami Callihan and Leo Rush had a fucking instant classic for me.
I actually missed the last show. Do you know what was going on with the cat mask that Callahan was wearing?
That's been his gimmick for a couple months now.
Yeah, because I missed that part of the story.
There's really no story. He just randomly started wearing a fucking cat mask at Battle of Los Angeles, PWG, and him and Muto went head to head with their masks, and he started using it instead. And I don't really get it.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
I'm not a fan.
It was a good fucking match.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great fucking match. I thought it was really hard hitting, and you should expect that from Callahan. But I was surprised Leo was giving it right back to him.
Oh yeah. Oh, what the fuck? What about Leo's entrance? That was badass. That was almost like a mini WrestleMania caliber.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, man. I mean, he had the gothic chick. I don't know. He's doing like a crow gimmick. I don't know what's going on with him.
That was pretty. I mean, by CZW standards, that was pretty big time.
Yeah, I think they've stepped it up, especially with their video packages and some of the entrances now. Hopefully, will start to stand out. Not that you necessarily need a nice entrance at an indie show, but if they want to set themselves apart from other promotions, that's definitely a way to stand out. Especially with those Joey Janela video packages. I mean, stamp a CZW logo on that dude. I mean, that's something special.
Yeah. Now, what do you think a guy like Rush would need to do to make it to the next level? Because I think the guy's money as is. The only hindrance he has right now for me is probably his size.
Probably nothing, man. He's great. He's only been wrestling 2 years.
Only going to get better.
Yeah, dude's gonna be fucking money. That dude is definitely money. Next up, we had Joe Gacy, and he defeated Jonathan Gresham. In the beginning of the match, on my side, they were having I think it was like a Gacy smells bad chant or some shit. They were giving him a hard time. Joe Gacy actually defeated Jonathan Gresham to become the new CZW champion, which is cool for him, man. I mean, because his dude's been around for a while. He was in the whole Sami Callihan and John Moxley, aka Dean Ambrose, clique. It's kind of cool to see the guy kind of grow up in CZW and become the champion. But I personally don't want to see him as a champion. I don't really care for it. But the ironic thing is that the crowd was shitting on him in the beginning, and then it was like the biggest pop of the night when this dude fucking won the title. Like you actually heard the crowd fucking roar,
Yeah, I guess they realized, oh shit, this guy's been around for like a decade. Let's cheer him.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It was weird. Before we move on to the next match, anything else on this match?
I don't know. Do you think we're at a point now where it just seems like everybody's just getting that turn with the belt?
Kind of.
I mean, this just seemed kind of random, at least in my opinion.
I mean, Tremont had it for like a year, but I think they're kind of hot potatoing it now with Gresham and now Gacy, and I think Ricky Shane Page is probably going to get it in 2017.
And Greg Excellent, I'm telling you.
No, dude, get the fuck out.
I'm telling you, he's getting...
dude, that'll be the day that
He's getting one.
No. Can't do it, man.
If Joe Gacy is getting a title run, fucking Greg Excellent is getting a title run.
I do not.
Because they've been around for roughly the same time.
I do not want to have to deal with the show where Greg Excellent gets a title run and I got to deal with Shahin bitching. That will be...
No, he'll probably walk out. He won't even see the 1, 2, 3. Won't be nothing.
He'll be like, no, this is looking bad. I'm out of here. He'll be like, I didn't see the end of the match. All I know is I'm not going to CZW until there's a new champion and I hear about it.
Yeah.
Damn, Box, you like, I don't even know this dude.
I don't know anything about it, but I can get hints from what I hear from Shahin and you. So, I know exactly.
I don't have a problem with the guy. I don't think he's world champion caliber, but I don't have anything against the guy.
I think Boxman would actually like him.
Really?
Yeah, I really think so.
Just because you hate him?
He comes out. Put it to you like this, Box. I mean, get his visual. His logo is like a Mountain Dew can. That's his. That's what his tights look like a Mountain Dew can, right?
I'm already thinking douchebag. Go ahead.
And he comes out to Lionel Richie.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So he'd be all right, half douchebag.
I mean, it's kind of weird. Now that he's a heel, he's kind of coming up with LP
Lionel
music.
Richie song?
I can't think.
Never Gonna Give You Up.
Yeah, that one. Thank
you. Let's put it this way: he's a big dude, big fat dude. He lost a lot of weight now, but he's still big. Really hairy, big beard. Does a comedy gimmick. Fucking. I remember one of the first things that really made me dislike him. Like in the beginning, I was just like, meh, whatever. The one match that he did where the gimmick of the match was that they were just calling out the spots before doing it, and it just completely like I almost had a Jim Cornette moment.
I'm looking at the guy now. Actually, I pulled him up on the old Google, and he looks like what people make fun of wrestling fans. Big, fat, Mountain Dew drinking. If he had a bag of Cheetos, he would be the IWC. Yeah.
He looks like the
He
wrestling
looks
fan.
like Braun Strowman got stuck in a cave and lost all his muscle mass. I don't know. I'm kind of lost. He has a Braun Strowman look in his face, but it's just another fat guy with a beard, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he could probably be like in the Wyatts or something.
Just another fat guy with a beard, in my opinion. Fat dude with a beard.
Well, we also had Ricky Shane Page and he defeated Danny Havoc in their fourth match, I believe, maybe third, in a death match. I thought this match was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
And I mean brutal. They had the fucking carpet strips. They were fucking smacking each other. They fucking took some crazy bumps on them. Glass, all sorts of shit, dude. This match was fucking brutal. And they had the gusset plates, man. Boxman, you know what gusset plates are,
I remember
right?
Sick Nick Mondo kind of elaborating on exactly what they were.
No, that wasn't him. I think that was Masada. Because he took that.
It might have been
Yeah, it was
Masada.
Masada.
I'm sorry. Sorry to both of you.
There you yeah, dude, the gusset plates are no fucking joke. Every time I see that, I'm like, oh shit, dude, I know
Someone's
something bad's
gonna
gonna
bleed.
happen. Yeah, someone's gonna bleed bad. You know, this was a really brutal match, to be honest with you. If you guys like brutality, Ricky Shane Page and Danny Havoc will always deliver. I guarantee that.
Yeah. What did you think of Shane's little shoot promo at the end of the match there?
I must have walked out. What happened?
He basically said, you know, he's.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Basically saying that like people in the back didn't want him there. Yeah, I liked it, man.
Be the world champion one day. He basically buried Hyde a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't? That works for him. It's weird. It's weird. Here comes the awkward silence. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. But as far as the match goes, I enjoyed it. This is one of the matches that really kind of turned the show around for me, where it was like fucking brutal. Maybe I just needed some bloodlust.
Turn the show around for you, dude. You had Leo Rush and Sami Callihan. You had
that match. I mean, yeah, like I said, this match, that match.
You had EYFBO and the Hit Squad. Dude, you had Shane Strickland and Desmond Xavier. Joe Gacy and Jonathan Gresham was not a bad match.
What the fuck are you thinking, Anthony?
Yeah, dude, the whole fucking card was stacked.
Christ,
Except
what
for
are
the
you,
first two
fucking
matches.
sucking dick backstage when these matches are going on? Fuck!
Dude, what the fuck's wrong with you? You sucking dick out there, dude? Boxman, where'd that come from?
I told...
You just started randomly accusing this dude of sucking dick, and then everybody else turned...
Okay, Box, be careful. You're gonna be involved in my latest rant.
It was the rum.
Get to it
Blame the rum. How's that? I'm sweating. I have no shirt on, and I'm sweating.
Dude, struggling hard over here.
Shahin has had to look at my naked chest half the night, and I'm still sweating. And it's fucking winter here. It's like 38 degrees outside. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Don't remind me. It's snowing here in Philly right now.
Is it really?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Between the computers and the fish tank, it's hot in this room, dude.
All right, well let's cap this off with the main event, the Cage of Death. You had Devin Moore, Drew Blood. You had Josh Crane and Dale Patricks going against Matt Tremont, Jeff Cannonball, Joey Janela, and Connor Claxton at the Cage of Death. Took them like a fucking hour to set up the cage as usual.
Yes.
So I went into my car and halfway died and came back.
Huh?
But you know what I mean. Yeah.
Thumbs up, bro.
Kayfabe, brother, kayfabe.
I got you, man. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
That's what you're talking about, man.
Fucking idiot.
That's
There
what
you
you're
go.
talking about.
All right. Jesus Christ. Jesus. All right, so Cage of Death 18. Thoughts on this, man? There was a bunch of sick bumps. I thought Connor Claxton probably took the worst bump from the top of that cage. That was pretty fucking brutal.
Yeah, it was kind of
The scaffold, I should say.
Yeah, the match was just fucking insane. I love the hell out of this match. I mean, the Claxton bump was kind of goofy because I don't know if because I was actually on the front row, so I could actually see from my position where he fell from.
Yeah, he just jumped off.
He literally just jumped off because I guess I don't know what the plan was, but he just threw us. It was like a Suicide Squad deal. Yeah. He just fell off.
They always do that.
He didn't do anything. Nobody did anything to him. He just like, fuck it, I'm gonna jump.
Even the classic scaffold spot with Tommy Dreamer and Bryan Lee, where he was punching him. I always remember that because you remember they used to always play the commercial for the tape during their TV tapings.
Yeah.
So I would always see that clip, and it would always bother me because you could just clearly tell that Bryan Lee just lets go himself. You know, like when he's ready, he just lets go. That happens all the time, though. But I mean, I thought Janela killed it in there as expected. That dude is fucking crazy. Janela,
yeah. I mean, yeah. He didn't die, so I look at it like this. Any show that Janela doesn't die, it's a good time. It's a good show.
He's always almost losing fingers, though. I don't know what's going on. He's always losing a hand.
Eventually
careful,
it's going to go. So be careful, Joey.
Yeah, be careful.
Man.
Jeff Cannonball took what sounded like a big bump. I was sitting on the opposite side, so I couldn't really see it. I saw the structure that he went through, and the thud kind of sounded pretty bad, but I didn't see the actual spot, but it sounded fucking brutal. I guess that the big thing about this match, after it ended, was the outsiders, basically, like the outside of CZW guys, the original IWA guys, which you can't call them that anymore because they don't work for IWA. But they basically came back in and started beating on Joey Janela, and then that's when Matt Tremont returned to the ring after he was eliminated, and he started to beat on them, and then he turned on Joey Janela. So Matt Tremont turned heel on CZW. Thoughts on this? Because I thought it was out of nowhere. It was kind of cool, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, it kind of worked. People were booing him, so, you know.
I'm going to say something that might disappoint you, because I don't know if you noticed. Did you notice, like, the guys that all of the locker room cleared out after the heel turn? And it was like a partner in the Red Sea as he was leaving?
See, I was on my way out. I was literally by the door when he turned heel, because, I'm always trying to get out of there. So
yeah.
As soon as I saw the ending coming, I was like, oh, I'll catch you later.
Well, I was, like, by the entryway where I was sitting, and basically he had a face-off with everybody, and I think, who got in his face? It was Danny Havoc, so I'm thinking that's going to be the next feud. And then, like, him and, he had a stare down with Greg Excellent, your favorite.
Oh.
And he called him a hypocrite. So, I don't know how, but I got a feeling, like, Tremont's next couple feuds are going to be with Havoc and Excellent, where they're going to do, like, some weird double turn.
No, I think it's going to be clearly against Joey Janela. I mean, he turned on Joey.
Oh, yeah. They're going to have a match, but he had, like, a face-off with a few different people as he was walking by. So I'm thinking, like, it's going to be, like, a little, he's going to have, like, a little go-around before he gets to Janela. I think that's going to be, like, the big match they build to.
Which would be smart. I mean, I would love to see Tremont and Joey. I think that's a match that hasn't happened. That should probably happen sooner than later. Probably going to be in a death match, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Joey swore he was going to stay away from the death matches, but clearly can't. So this is his second, or third, I should say. He had a no-rope barbed wire match. His third death match.
Yeah. I will say, this is one of those times where I wish they had CZW had weekly TV, because this is something they really need to follow up on, because outside of the website and the YouTube channel, they're not going to have a show again until February. So we really won't have any follow-up for the next month and a half.
What is the next show?
February 11th, I believe. That'd be the anniversary show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because the January show, I guess they scrapped that because like it wasn't really doing too well, so they just said, fuck, doing the January show.
Yeah, I wonder if they're doing it at the arena again.
Maybe. If it's financially feasible, why not?
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't snow again like last time, dude. I almost like died going up there last time.
Yeah, that was that was quite the trip for a lot of us.
Yeah, that was rough, man. That was probably the roughest wrestling trip I ever took in my life.
That's dedication. If you were a wrestling fan and you came to that show, you was fucking hardcore.
Oh, dude, I paid. I had to go. Fuck that. Got to get there. Plus, it was cool to see the Young Bucks and CZW.
I paid. I had to go.
I'm gonna go check that shit out.
Bad weather and roads be damn. I paid to be in this shit.
Dude, 76 was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a fucking nightmare. But, all right, enough with the CZW talk. Anything else you want to get off your chest? Any questions, any topics we missed, anything you want to talk about?
Just a quick topic. You guys already brought up the New Day, and I just want to preface this by saying, like, I think the New Day is stale as shit. But that said, I feel the need to defend them. Because I don't know if you guys heard the news. This is becoming like a story. Big E had put out a tweet of all the champions. Himself, Kofi, Woods, Sasha Banks, and Rich Swann. And he hashtagged it Black Excellence. Black Excellence. And Twitter collectively lost their shit. They're accusing him of being racist, and what if you say white excellence, Puerto Rican excellence, and all this shit. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Well, Welcome to Trump's America, motherfuckers.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to Trump's America.
I hate to put it so
Jesus Christ.
bluntly, but seriously, dude. Yeah, this goes back to what I'm sorry to cut you off, Anthony, but this goes back to what I was saying before.
Yeah, go ahead.
What are we teaching people? This is not offensive. This is to me. To me, this is not offensive. I mean, if Black Lives Matter isn't offensive to you, then this tweet shouldn't be offensive to you.
No, it's to the point where, and Kofi had to come out, he kind of spoke on it and defended it, and I feel compelled to defend these guys, because I look at it like this. You don't want to make things a racial issue, but the fact of the matter is, racism is still very much alive in this country. Period, point blank. It may not be as bad as when my grandparents and parents was coming up, but it still exists. And it's existed in wrestling for a very long ass fucking time. And I'm not just going to limit this to WWE, it's wrestling in general. You have never in history seen this many black people in positions of power. In position, I won't say power, but positions of where they're actually being spotlighted in meaningful ways at one time.
Yep.
And I'm not speaking for Xavier or fucking Big E, because I haven't spoken to these people personally, so I don't know. But I get the sense that they weren't trying to be negative. They weren't trying to point out, oh, black people matter, other people don't. They were trying to put it out there because guess what? Racism exists. And they want to show that if they can do it, anybody can fucking do it.
Dude, it's not even that. Dude, it's honestly not even that. Do you know what it is?
Tell us, please. Shahin, preach.
It's a Jay-Z song called Black Excellence.
Is it?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
you're right, yeah.
That's what they're referencing.
You know what? Even for someone like me who doesn't understand the reference, I don't care. You know what? Be proud of who you are, no matter who you are. It doesn't. I just don't.
Well, you know what?
The fact that people get offended by the smallest shit is what people should be offended about, and they're not.
Well, you know what,
Go ahead,
Boxman?
I'm sorry.
You know what, Boxman? I'm not even white, but I can understand why white people would be against it.
I mean, technically, I'm not white either,
Any
so
other culture,
I really have no say in the white community since I'm Jewish. But
none of us do.
But
really.
go ahead.
Whatever. So a bunch of
There you
non-white
go.
people
We're
talking about white people.
Totally
There you go.
qualified. You know what? I have white friends, so go ahead, Shahin.
Okay. We all do. All right. Well, look, if you're from any other culture and you replace that culture with the black and put, let's say, Asian excellence or Indian excellence or whatever the case may be, I think all of it in society's eyes is appropriate, but when you replace that with white, it automatically kind of... It's because of the history,
course.
you know what I mean? If you put white excellence, it automatically...
Right, and you're right.
You know what I mean? But if you put, like, Indian excellence, there's nothing to tie it
You're
down
right.
to. You know what I mean? Oh, they just have pride in their country.
Which
Whatever.
immediately
Who cares?
makes it kind of a double standard. But
Right.
if no one was offended by this, it wouldn't fucking matter. Like I just said, people should be offended that everyone is offended by every little thing. That's offensive to me. The fact that everyone is so quick to jump at a fucking, just quickly. Just, that's racist. Maybe he didn't mean it. Maybe he just is proud that there's a lot of fucking African American people that are champion right now. Oh, God forbid he's proud of that. No, you cannot be proud because being proud is racist. Look, I'm...
Exactly. I mean, it's just a matter of looking at the history of the fucking business. Let's be honest, and not trying to make it a racial thing.
It's not even the business. Let's look at the
facts.
history of America, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, on a grander scheme of things, to see that many black people in prominent positions, not because of a fucking pulling a race card, they're there because they're talented and they earn the spot. Because guess what? When Vince looks at them, he sees money. Period, point blank. If they were not making money for the company, they would not be in those fucking positions, black, white, or whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm a firm believer in putting the proper people in positions, not because of their color, but because they earned it. And these guys, even though I personally think they're stale as fuck, and I'm kind of tired of, the whole New Day rocks and all of that shit, they've earned the position. They've earned it. Let these brothers enjoy their fucking moment. Why does everything have to be bogged down with, what the fuck does he mean by that? That just irritated me.
Whoa, Anthony, you just got racist.
He did a little bit, but he did just a little, just a touch. But you also said it before that. You said it. Let these people. They're just. It doesn't matter. You don't have to say. Let these.
I tapped into my blackness for a minute.
You know what? We shouldn't have to say. Let these black people or Latino people or Asian people. How about just let these people be proud of what they're proud of, and who gives a fuck? Plain and simple.
That's
Thank
beautiful,
you.
Boxman. If we can end on that note, that's the most. Well,
then we can. You go ahead. I'll play the fucking. I'll do my job. You do yours, and we'll end on that note. Here. I'm doing
we'll
my
save
job.
the world. All right, the Hot Tag Podcast, saving the world. And good night. We'll see you next week, next Wednesday, same place as always, mixler.com/THT podcast. Once again, thanks to Ricky Fo for joining us. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, YouTube. Leave a subscription, leave a fucking review, leave a comment, share it on your page, join us on Facebook, join us on Twitter. Shout out to Wrestling Soup, shout out to Yakuza Kick Radio, shout out to Larry, Chunky Larry. Congratulations on him having a son. And also check us out on the Powies coming out, geeksoftheindustry.com. It's going to be under the Mega Powers podcast. So check us out on there. We'll be on there in a couple weeks. And we'll talk to you soon.
There you go. Don't forget to always check out THT Movie Review Friday nights, 11 o'clock. Me and Anthony are going to do another Christmas-themed movie this month. Obviously, it's December, so still left either Bad Santa, Scrooged, or Christmas Vacation. So one of those three movies coming up this Friday. Check out THT Movie Review on Facebook to see that. And as usual, thank you to everybody who downloaded. Thank you to everybody listening. Thank you to Ricky O. Awesome fucking conversation. Really appreciate your time. And we will see y'all next week.
Pack her ass, my good man. Time to kick back, take some beers, and smoke some weed.